Everything on the line, out here I'm on the grind, trying to get mine. At least you can wish me luck. Nigga move the way, trying to get the cake. I'm in and out of state. At least you can wish me luck. Many niggas fade. It's hard to tell a shame. When I'm flipping, I'm straight. At least you can wish me.
Alright, welcome to the Brutally Opinionated podcast with your girl Opinionated. Everybody know me as Mechee. My boy Big P.
Yep, it's your boy Big P. We in here. We got a special guest in the building today.
Very special guest in the building.
Yep. You want to introduce the sister, Mimi?
Absolutely. A sister that I've known for quite some time and have been a big supporter of since 2016?
Okay.
Since the early viral Bill Cosby days.
Oh, okay.
Very, very brilliant sister. I mean, amazing. And strictly for her people. She's unapologetically black. And the most unapologetically black person I've seen since James Baldwin.
I love it.
Right.
I love it.
And we have the pleasure of introducing y'all to Mechee.
Yep. And also, Mechee X has her own network as well.
I do.
Yeah. So we definitely gonna dive into all of that journey with getting that up and running, because that's something a lot of people I'm sure is curious about. We actually got some people in the room that's interested about that as well, about finding out how that process works. So we're gonna dive into all that. So, Nina, you want to start with the questions or whatever? We can jump on into this conversation.
All right, first question, which I'm sure everybody would want to know: who is Mechee?
I still struggle with how to answer that question because I'm so much. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm an ex-pastor. An ex-wife.
That's right.
A revolutionary, an activist. Some say I'm crazy. Owner of a network. I fight for my people. I don't even like the word activism because I think it's so cliched and watered down, but I like to think that I'm whatever I need to be, whenever I need to be it, but the ultimate goal is to educate and empower my people in a way that I feel like people are scared to do.
I like that.
So, and I probably left a couple things out. So, like I said, I still struggle with that introduction.
Yeah.
I am that I am.
That's right.
Come find out if you don't know. Look.
That's right. So I know you kind of gave us a list of things as far as titles, right? But I often like to dive a little deeper into that and ask, who is Mechee X? Because to me, that dives into why we do what we do. So why are you so passionate about what you do?
Well, I have myself experienced a whole lot of the things that I fight about. Not to say that other people haven't, but I think that's one of the things that is unique. I see a lot of, activists and people that are fighting for the folks, and they want to do it because it's like, oh, this just ain't right.
It's a trend.
For me, it's personal.
Yeah.
It's very personal. Over my life, I have experienced a lot of ups and downs when it comes to racism and the system and what that really looks like, right? Because we get confused what real racism really is. We get confused who the white man is and who the oppressor is. We don't always understand that. At one point I was there too, but I myself just have experienced that. I have a brother who was murdered by the police, the prison police, and they put him on 24-hour lockdown and they starved him to death, and they lied and said he committed suicide, and then they sent us his emaciated body where his rib cages were shown and his hair was wild like a mane, and they gave us a box of his belongings, and then there was a pair of rusty shoes and a bunch of paperwork because he would write down every day what was happening to them, but they didn't take out his paperwork. They gave us that. And so I got to read his kites, and for 6 months he was requesting a haircut. God, bless, please, and thank you. He was, you have to request anything, so a kite. And for months they did not honor his request. They did not give him the care that he needed, and then they said he killed himself. And they changed the story many times, and then when we saw his body, no marks as prior to suicidal attempts, as they said was there. Like I said, I could see his rib cage. I could see that they didn't, honor his request for a haircut for 6 months. He had a lion's mane on his head, and nobody ever paid the price. I was 17 years old. I didn't know what to do. My mother was so devastated. Nobody ever did anything. But I don't forget that. For me, it's just as real as it was yesterday, and like it happened yesterday. And then later, I have lost my son that was 16 to the school-to-prison pipeline. I watched it in real-time action while I was in school, for criminal justice and psychology, and I'm studying the school-to-prison pipeline, and, I got the lesson of a motherfucking lifetime because I experienced it while I was studying it. And they took my son and they used his school record against him, his suspensions, you know, for uniform violations, not criminal actions. And they said, well, you know, this boy that had never committed a crime before, he was the only juvenile amongst the people that had done stuff. You know, nobody was hurt, nobody was, you know, murdered. Yes, he committed a crime. Yes, he should have been in trouble, but he should have been sentenced as a juvenile.
Yes.
But to say that he was a threat, they used his school record of suspensions. These are not crimes, right? And they said, well, because of this, you can't rehabilitate this boy. We think he should be tried as an adult. And they took my son and gave him 11 years. He served 10. He came home not too long ago, but they fucked my son up. Yeah. He back in there facing 30 now. That's a long story too. That, I mean, we could definitely get into, but to give the gist of all of that, it's like they took my son from society in his most vulnerable moments, and they created him and gave him the mentality to always be a slave within the system. The new plantation, which is the prison, he can't function out here. He got out and he changed his clothes 5-6 times a day because he just didn't know how to dress. I mean, imagine at 16 when you're learning to develop your style and how you want to look, they put you in a uniform, just like our schools, school to prison pipeline, take away your personality. And so when he got out, he didn't even know how to dress. That shit stressed him out. Something as little as that, being in bigger crowds, like they messed my son up, right? And then they wouldn't let him come and be where his, you know, support system was. They kept him in the same environment where he was, and instead of letting him come where I was. At one point, he didn't have anywhere to be. I had to pay for him to be in a hotel, and he told his parole officer all of this stuff, and they should have given him assistance or let him come where he had help. And he just went and robbed the place, and it was the craziest thing to me because he only got like $100 and something out the drawer. I don't really think he did it because I know he didn't do it because he needed the money. He could have called his mama. I could have sent him 10 times that much in 2 minutes on Cash App. It was crazy because he stressed me out every day over everyday life stuff. Mama, every day on the phone. The first time he called me and he didn't sound stressed, he was calling me to tell me he was in jail. He got arrested. It was like it was home to him. Even though he couldn't say that, he knew what to do in there. He knew what to expect.
He knew how to.
And for the first time since he had been free, although he wasn't free anymore at this moment, it was the first time I spoke with him in all that time that he didn't seem stressed out. He didn't seem like he didn't know what to do. He seemed at peace when he spoke to me, honestly. And there would be a lot of people who would say, well, why he go out there and do that again? Your son's stupid, he threw his life away. There'll be people that don't understand the psychology in creating a slave, and this is why they got him when he was young. This is the whole purpose to the school to prison pipeline. If they give my son 30 years, he ain't never murdered nobody. Yeah. He done gave him 10, you gonna give him 30 months, when you gonna let him out when he 50, 60? You think he gonna understand anything better about society and life then? No. Once they get them young, they don't know how to function in society. All they know how to do is be a slave, so they always go back to the plantation. That's the real deal of being caught up in the system. And so, yeah, they have snatched my child from me. I see it for what it is. And so I am angry. People say, oh, you the angry black woman. You motherfucking right, I'm angry. Right. And I just want to know why we not all angry.
That's what
you
I'm
know?
saying, yeah.
So a lot of those things, you know, brought about who I was. But what happened to my son, to go back to how Mechee X came about, you know, I just remember watching Tamir Rice and being like, why we ain't burn this bitch down, and they just killed that 12-year-old baby like it was nothing. How do we just be okay with this? If this wasn't the final straw, there's not a final straw. I was so upset. I did Michael Brown. I turned the TV off and I went in my room, and I was fortunate enough to have a mother that helped me and to have income, being at home to where I made my own money and I didn't have to go out, because I sat in my room for 2 years, depressed. And I mean, of course, I came out to go to the store to pay bills and stuff. But when I was home, I was in my room. And I felt guilty going outside because they put my son in the home for a year, waiting to be transferred. He hadn't done anything but to keep his body, because it gives them money. They weren't ready to let him go. So they would keep him, but he was just waiting to be transferred, but he was in the home. I want all of the people listening to go in your closet, go in your bathroom. And I want you to go in there and imagine that you haven't left that room in 365 days.
Yep.
He didn't do shit. That's what they said. No contact, no TV, no phone calls, no nothing, right? And they sat him in that room. And every day I would get up, I would be like, damn, it's been 2 months, it's been 3 months. My son's sitting in the same room. I couldn't go outside my room. I felt guilty. My room was too fucking big. It wasn't even small enough, if you ask me. Damn. So I felt guilty to go out of my room, right? In those 2 years, I sat in my room and I really was like, how do you do something about it? Either I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna die, right? But I got other kids and to raise, and but I gotta do something because I ain't a weak punk bitch. Let me tell you that.
That's right.
And you don't just take from me and I'm just gonna kumbaya, don't forgive nobody. Nope. I gotta get up for my other babies, but at the same time, I gotta get up for my babies. And I'm okay with the tears. Yeah. Cause this is real.
That's
this
right.
is real
this
motherfucking
is
life. And a lot of my people cry every day and their stories don't make it to the national news. And mothers gotta get up every day and their kids is murdered. They go to prison. They go home. We all go to prison with our kids. It devastates and it destroys your life. And they gotta go to work. Yes. They in survival mode and they hurting and they crying too. So I want them to know I fucking feel. So I'm okay with the tears, right? But sitting in that room, I just felt like, who did this to my son? Who got to pay? And who is the real enemy? And I ain't studied black revolutionary people. I didn't go read a bunch of books because I figured anything the revolutionaries had done, it didn't work because we still here. So I wasn't really concerned and looking at what they did because it didn't work. Yeah. It didn't work.
We're still in the same boat.
So I began to study the enemy, and I found out who the enemy was, and I stopped calling him the white man and I called him the government. And I realized the systems and how they were set up for you to never win, for it to always come down on black people the most, that we the lowest of the totem pole. And I knew who the real enemy was, and it was the systems and the way that they are set up. And it made me realize them and look at them, and I saw that everything that was done in slavery, it still exists.
It's just remodified.
They just call it something else.
Yep, it's a different form.
And I said, these motherfuckers. And so, understanding what the problem is, I understood what the solution was. And you ain't never getting to the real answer until you stop being weak punk bitches and you start getting angry. Fuck that kumbaya. Because what needs to take place, and what I understand, is that we're in a war, but we don't understand that we're under attack, and we don't understand the weapons and the levels that are being used against us. And when I recognized them, I just began to give them to the people. It was the way of empowering myself. I do spoken word. I used to go around and wrote all the spoken word in that room, at that desk. Within that time, I took a real deep look at myself. I also realized that on the plantation, that's where they gave us Christianity, because I used to be a pastor.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't at that time. I wasn't at that time, no. But I was like, wow, so they gave us this shit. This is why it don't really make no sense. It don't empower you. That's why it's one on every corner with a liquor store, and they call it liquor spirits. Yeah. Well, what they do is, I feel like they give you
a false hope.
Yeah. They numb you, right? You go get liquor and they drown away the pain, but you got to come back again for another fix.
You got to deal with the reality.
Well, why you at the altar on Sunday? If the Lord fix it, why you back here on Wednesday?
Absolutely.
Why you come back next Sunday? Why?
You're every for the next
just enough
years.
To give you a fix, to let you know it'll be all right. And when the pain and the reality start to sink in, that life is fucked up, you go get another drink and it'll drown it out for you. You go and praise the Lord and it'll drown it out for you. Yeah.
They say pray a little while longer.
And I was like, these motherfuckers done gave us this shit on the plantation too. We really God's our damn self. If I'm made in the image of my creator, then I'm definitely a creator. So then I realized, wait a minute, so you mean the life that I'm living, I don't like it, it's up to me to change it? So then I had a fight with myself.
Come on now.
Ain't nobody in life never whooped my ass like I whooped my own ass. I sat in that room and looked at myself. Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. I literally said I'm my biggest critic.
Yeah.
It's nothing that another person is going to tell me that I haven't already either looked at or evaluated for myself.
Nope.
Because it's about self-growth all the time for me.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's accountability. I realized religion allowed me to blame everything on something outside of me. The devil made me do it. No, the devil ain't made me do that shit. I did it, and some things I don't even consider sin. How about you just said it was a sin? I like the cuss. Fuck you. Exactly. Okay? You say it's a sin. I don't think it's a sin. But if there's something going on in your life that you feel bad about, then look at yourself. Take accountability for it. If you are in a position you don't want to be in, take a look at yourself. Take accountability for it. You are the creator. What have you created in your life? Even if people treat you like shit or situations seem to be bogus in your life, what do you what do you do to keep placing yourself in them? Oh, as soon as you realize they ain't shit or it's bogus, what do you do to remove yourself? It all come back to you. Yeah. You don't have control over nothing but yourself. Yeah. And so I took control of myself. And that was a real big fight too, because then, you know, you're looking at yourself and you fighting, you really fighting the old you. It's life changing, you get sick and tired of you. And so I'm depressed, I don't know how to be a mother to my other children. I'm feeling bad, I don't know how to save my own child. And now I'm fighting, and it's like, before you can save anybody else, you gotta save yourself. But before you can do that, you have to really come to wrangles with who you are. How are you the way you are? Where you at in life? And whatever you don't like, what can you do to change it? And that was difficult. This is why I'm not. I don't care what people think about me, a human person or whatever. I done battled too much with life. I'm not never motherfucking scared of you, your bullets. The only thing you can do is kill this body, and it's all right if it die. Cause I've come to an ultimate understanding of what's in me. You can never kill, cause I just wrap up in flesh and bitch come back again. But at the end of the day, all that I've been through, I ain't scared of none of that shit or nobody or what they got to say to me. You know what I mean? Like, I done been through enough battles. I done fought myself enough. You think I'm worried about a person want to fight with me? Leave me alone. You ain't never fought nobody till you done fought a crazy motherfucker that done fought themselves. You don't want none of this.
That's a different fight.
That is a fact.
It's a different fight. And I love what you said about self-accountability. Because we amongst our group, we talk about that all the time, about that's literally one of the biggest things with our people is why I don't feel like we're moving forward, because we have no accountability. Like you said, there's always a place I can place blame. Well, Satan did this, or this must be in God's plan, or whatever that may be. But once we realize, and me and Nene can actually attest to this, because we've been going through this recently, with, you know, once you decide to take control of your life, you actually start to see things moving in your favor. And shifting, like, okay, so now that you're taking control, the universe is now going to align with what you got going on. And they line things up. And that's what we've just been seeing over the last 2 weeks, that once you take that control, and that's why we wanted to have this conversation, because I think it's important for people to understand that you are your own power. You are your own answer. Stop looking for the government, the system, this magical person to appear out of nowhere and fix your problem. So I think that was dope what you said.
Just imagine what we could do if we understood the leverage that we had. You know, we are the biggest, and I quote you because I hear you say this a lot, we are the biggest commodity. Like, the world does not move if we, as black people, don't exist.
I don't think a lot of our people understand that, though. That's why I explain it every time I say it. They poor as hell, how we make everybody rich, how are we the biggest commodity, how are we used to be bought and sold. I wake up every day and go to work. I get food stamps. What you talking about? The food stamps is exactly what I'm talking about. That Medicaid, you don't even understand how these systems work. And so, keeping us poor and destitute and sick, and mentally ill, unhealthy, and addicted to drugs, and on welfare, it actually makes a lot of people very, very wealthy.
Yep.
By keeping us down and keeping us the way that we are. So yeah, we are the biggest commodity that is exchanged, traded, and sold still in the United States of America. Ain't shit changed. Welcome to the new plantation, baby.
Welcome to the new plantation.
And going back to accountability, the problem that most of us have with accountability is acknowledging it first. You gotta acknowledge that you were wrong in a situation in order to take accountability.
Or you were an accomplice. You were an accomplice in your destruction. He whooped my ass. He broke my heart. But why the fuck did you stay for 10 years?
You enabled.
He wrong. Why did you help him do this to
you? It's crazy that you said that, because when I made my transition with, again, challenging my old self versus my new self, I literally had to look at myself and say, I don't like the old version I was. I literally had to say, the version that sold drugs to my people, that wasn't me, that was a system. And it's crazy what you said about how they grab them young. Because I literally have a friend of mine who's doing 35 now, who they caught him at 18. He wrote me a letter a year ago and was like, yo, Pete, I'm just so glad it wasn't you that got caught in there, because you saw what you needed to do quicker than a lot of us, and he's proud of the person I've kind of changed into now, because like you said, they catch you young, and now he's doing 35, he'll get out to 50. So how can he ever readapt to society?
He's not.
No, he's not.
He's not gonna come out as a 50-year-old man. Let me tell you something.
He's gonna come out at the age that he went in.
Let's just delve into that just a little bit. In all the years he gonna be in there, he's never turned on a light switch in that many years.
Never had a cell phone.
He don't think about what he gotta wear. Hits my son. You put on the same thing every day because they done told you what to wear. Everybody got the same pajamas, everybody got the same boxes, everybody got the same coat, everybody got the same shoes, okay? So you've not had to pay a bill. You've not had to socialize in real society. If somebody tells you no, you can't shank them, my nigga. You can't fight them and be ready to go to the hole. This is real life, right? And at the end of the day, it's a whole different world in there than out here. And at 50, that man see, I went to school for criminal justice, and they don't tell you about the stories of the people who have spent so many times in prison, so many years. They get out at such a much older age. They actually will go and commit a crime and sit on the curb and wait for the police to come get them because they want to go home. They don't have it. All their family members die while they in there. They get out, they have nobody house to go to. They don't have any skills. They can't get no job. You want them to come out here and live? Nah, I'm going to go back to Hots and the Cot and everybody I know in a system that I can function in, and I'm going to just stay there and let them take care of me until I die. What they going to do? Come out and get Social Security? They ain't work.
They ain't working nowhere.
But they won't work there.
And now that's the homeless population.
Right. So you want me to live on the streets?
And bet.
I don't know. I have to tell you before I live on the streets and I be homeless, I probably would just go back to jail where I'm used to doing and knowing what to do. Yeah. At least they gonna give me some food. I mean, come on. Jail food is bad, but have you ever had to eat out of a trash can? So this is what they do to people, right? And then they need the plantation for survival. I was telling somebody the other day, you know, the felony is the new nigga. Replace the word felony with nigga. Who is the only people in this country that you can, it's okay to discriminate against housing?
Niggas.
A felon.
A felon, yep.
But use the word nigga instead, right? That's how it used to be.
True.
Who can you discriminate openly when it comes to giving them education and opportunities? Felons, because you're a felon.
Employment.
Who can you discriminate with employment? Housing.
Yep.
Do you have a felony? I don't have to rent to you.
Yep.
So who do they ostracize from society? These are all the things you couldn't do when you was a nigga back then. And if you replace the word with felon, it's just a legal way to ostracize you from society. And people say it's okay because they've given it another label, but then they give black folks felony on top of felony on felony. And I tried to explain this to somebody in my chat, and one of them black folks that want to be self-righteous for massa in the house was like, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing wrong. What I want people to understand is that you can write a bad check if you're hungry. And if that check is over a certain amount, $400-$500 in that state, that is considered a felony. Okay? So a felony is not always kicking in a nigga door, home invasion. Let's stop having that attitude about it. There's a lot of things that are called felons. And let me tell you, if most black people wasn't poor and they could afford to not take the deal to get out and go home, most of these cases would be dropped by the district attorney because nobody has time to be fucking filing a case over a $450 check and going to trial. If all black people would just say no to the deals, you would actually shut down the criminal justice system because there are not enough. There are not enough attorneys, and then there are laws that say you can't hold me longer than a certain amount of time. But we don't understand that, and we won't come together and say no. Just don't take no deal. Say no to the deal, because I promise they'll offer you another one right before you go into the courtroom for trial. They'll come back and say, look, can we work it out one more time? Don't take that first one. Just say no. If we just did that, do you know how much that would stop shit? But if you go to jail and you got to sit in there without taking it, you want to go to trial, you ain't got no money bail out, you could be in there a year. What kind of life you gonna have? What you gonna come out to, right? So you want to go home before you lose all your life because you've been in here without no bail for some soup. You already post, so you done wrote the bad check. That's why you did it. Now you in here, you've been in here 2 weeks, you done lost your job already. You about to lose your apartment. You about to lose your kids. I need to get the fuck out of here, right? So they back you in the corner for you to take these felons, and now you've taken the label of the new nigga. And it's okay to discriminate against you. It's okay to say we won't rent to you. It's okay to say you can't have education. You don't have the right to certain funds. It's okay to say we're not giving you a job. It's okay to say that about you, and nobody calls it racist. It's genius.
Yeah, no, like they literally said, and it's a quote. I don't know if I'm quoting it right, but they literally said they created the perfect system. So when people are like the system's broke, I said no, it's broken.
No, it's designed the way they wanted it to be.
That's why when they talk about, well, we need to up, I said no. Until we're willing to blow the system up and rewrite it all together, then we're never going to be where we need to be. And they're never going to do that because they don't want to go back to resetting the standard. They're weak. And that's where people like us, the strong ones, have to be willing to unite and show them. Because I think I hope, this is my hope, because I don't really know if I'll see it in my lifetime, but I think if they see it enough, because I don't look at celebrities as our answer, like how it used to be back in the 60s and 70s where they spoke up for issues that were going on in our community. But I think if they see enough of the regular people like us that are not the big figures and things like that doing it, we can get people moving in that direction. But I think it has to start on that ground level with these type of conversations.
I don't know if that'll ever happen in our life.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'll see it.
I don't have the confidence.
Well, let me tell you something. I fear that if black people don't take the reins and stand up now, there will never be another time for us to, because the world is changing, not just society. The new world order is coming into play, and at the end of the day, if we don't do something now, there will come a time very soon, there won't be anything for you to do. You won't be able to get up in the name of blackness and fight for anything. That won't even matter anymore. And that's a deeper conversation that most people don't understand. But at the end of the day, where things are going, we're being replaced right now. We worried about the government and and the zombie apocalypse, and people laugh at survival and being ready because they don't understand what civil unrest brings. People are desperate right now. There are people who are not citizens of this country, and then the citizens of this country are becoming desperate. They are forcing people to lose jobs. They're purposely crippling the economy and American people, and then they have all the migrants in here, and we're all at each other's throats. And desperate time call for desperate measures. And when people start kicking in your back door, when folks start taking over your empty houses, now I put that up, and they talking about going into these unoccupied. I don't want to say abandoned, because that means if you have a rental, an Airbnb, if your parents left you an extra house, they can go up in that mud. And how many people gonna be like, oh, this against the law, you can't kick them out? Somebody gonna shoot them up in their face, and then it's gonna be a problem. And they've been given the right to carry guns. We can keep going, but it's about to be a great time of desperation, and it ain't about them. Them guns we got is for each other, because they gonna let us do it to ourselves, right? And people don't really understand the desperation that's coming and what people will do in that time of desperation. And the black community always screaming, guns and gun violence, I don't want that shit in my house. Let me tell you, if you are a single mother and you have children, you better get one in your house, but you better learn how to use
we
that
all
shit.
carriers over here.
You better learn how, right? Just here in the South.
No, I took my daughter at 13, and now she's 18 now, and now she has the knowledge of it. So if anything ever happens, she know where it's in the house and how to use that thing. And as soon as she get 21, she'll be.
It's all about training and respecting the weapon for what it is and understanding the importance of it. And we don't do enough of that. I keep reminding people that in COVID, I was in Colorado. And all the black people were at the grocery store lining up waiting for the tissue truck to come in, because there was no more tissue on the shelf and they didn't have any extra tissue. All of the other people were at the gun store, and they were waiting for the ammunition to show up, and the ammunition was selling out before they could even empty out the truck. It was already sold. So you can keep saying you don't need no guns, you don't need no bullets, but the question would be, all of them have one. So what are their plans with those bullets and those guns? So keep being a fool if you want to. You talk, and only so many people gonna hear you. And I don't come to that realization now. And there's gonna be a whole lot of folks you just can't do nothing for. And when that time come, I'ma just have to be like, damn, and keep on walking by me and mine, because ain't nothing I can do for you now.
And we tried to tell you.
Yeah.
And the time is now. I think to pick up, like you said. Pick up what it is that you need to do, and let's get it done. Like, it's no need to wait. There's no need to wait till next year, or I'm gonna wait till the right situation. Let's get started now. Pick up and get going.
I always tell people, stay ready, so you have to get ready. You don't never know when what's coming is coming. If you don't know what's coming, then you don't know when it's coming. Right? So you just better be ready.
Be ready.
At all times.
Be ready, so you gotta get ready.
Yeah.
So those who don't know, you were born and raised in Detroit.
Yes, Detroit and West Side. I was born on and lived all my life. It's funny because I lived on the same block. I'm a Finkel baby, Hartwell and Finkel. Yeah,
okay.
West Side.
How was it coming up in Detroit?
Detroit was Detroit. I would say I survived Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit is a ghetto, like many other places. Filled with a whole lot of bad things if you want to get caught up in them, and lucky if you make it to see a certain age. Seeing a lot of things that we shouldn't see as children, dead bodies, people being killed, a lot of drug dealing, and so I grew up very fast. In Detroit, I was telling you when we had a conversation about, being caught up in the streets. I remember, at 14 years old, I was sipping on gin and juice, laid back with my mind on my money, my money on my mind. Like I was really sipping gin and juice when the song was out, and all the other 8th graders was in school. I skipped school. I wasn't going to school every day. I was hanging out with the dope boys and sipping gin and juice. I didn't want to go to school, right? So growing up in Detroit in them streets, it was really hard. Like, we didn't get a bus ride to school. We walked through the neighborhood to school. All of our schools were dilapidated. There were no textbooks. Back then we had our textbooks. It was just, school was a joke. You just went to school every day for a teacher to babysit you, to watch some damn mice run around in the bathroom, for the shit to be dilapidated. Somebody want to fight, it's always bullies. I didn't have time for it. And, so I wasn't living with my mother. I was living with my father in Detroit. And so, you know, he didn't really care much of what I did. He was a hard alcoholic and a workaholic. And so, for me, when I realized he didn't care if I went to school or not, and he wasn't never home, I just stopped playing. And when he made me go, I go through the front door and go right out the back door, catch the bus and meet my homegirl at somebody's house. So, you know, we ran the streets. Part of that was because I was with my father and I did not have the discipline I needed being with him because my mother was not around. He wasn't the parent, you know, for structure or anything like that. So I unfortunately got caught. When I say I survived, like I was a girl and, you know, a 5'2" girl at that, you know, but I was in the streets like I thought I was 6 feet tall and I look back like you a stupid, you should have been dead, girl. Like, you know, I don't know, at 14, 13 years old, they got the underground clubs, you know, everybody around there got, you know, drug dealers. I'm not gonna lie, I look into the drug dealers, I was 13. And if we're gonna be honest about the situation, my father was not a protector nor a provider. And so for me, I didn't know it then at that age, 13 years old. But I'm looking for a protector and a provider. And the dope boys had guns and they shot at niggas, okay? And they had money and they would buy you clothes and take care of you. So I started hanging out with the dope boys, right? You know, and while all the rest of the girls though was like, you know, oh, you know, buy me some new shoes and get, you know, I was like, so how you cook?
Yeah.
For real.
Show me how that works.
How you bag that up? And you do what and how you do a flip? Show me. I can make the, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to know how they did what they did. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, you know, all my family from Detroit. Cousins is crazy. And I hung out with them. And I hung out with my brothers, you know. So I learned a lot of the game from the niggas. And when at 14, I shouldn't be walking down a dark street because this is where the drug dealers and the crazies were at 2 in the morning. I'm like, shit, I got dope in my pocket. I'm a drug dealer too. So I didn't really realize the danger that I was in. But I watched, of course, like any hoods, people get shot, people be killed. You up in the trap house, everybody come through. I'm in the era when niggas did walk-bys. Like that's where I grew up. Come down the street with an AK-47 walking. I'll never forget the day Mendo shot up the dope house. Right? He came down the street walking. He didn't have no car. He lived in the second block. He didn't even care we knew it was him. And just shot up the whole house with an AK-47. And walk back home. Like nothing happened, you know? But then the police come and they wrap everything up and you just go back to normal living. That was life in the hood. I'll never forget the day my brother girlfriend had a baby, wasn't his baby, and she died. She wasn't breathing in her crib, and I ran across the street to go get a lady who was a nurse. And we was up all night. They swore somebody beat the baby to death. And my brother like, I ain't putting no hands on no baby. And so the baby died. And they got him at the police station. They questioning both of them. And we up all night because the family at one hospital want to beat up my brother because they think he done killed the baby. By 6 in the morning, Marcy confessed that she been beating her baby. They let my brother go. And he come home and all the news, TV station right outside in front of my house. And I'm 12. I got dressed. I've been up all night. And I went to fucking school. And I remember my teacher said, what is you doing here? I saw your house on the news. I said, yeah, but the baby at the hospital now, my brother back home. I mean, I gotta go to school. And I'm saying that to say that that's the dysfunction. Like, to me, that was just life. It was sad, a baby died. Yeah, we was up all night. The police was here. People tried to kill my brother. He almost went to jail. It's all worked out, and it's worked out just in time for school. So I'm going to class. Wasn't nobody there to pat me on the back like, it's all right, you all right? Are you traumatized by this?
Yeah.
No, this is just life. Niggas die every day, B. That's what that
trauma, man.
Yes, so that's what I mean. Growing up, like, that was just the streets of Detroit. So I survived them because everybody I know now I hung out with, they not doing shit with their life if they still alive. I look at them and think, dang, you ain't never grown. I go back and see my peoples that I hung out with and it's sisters that's in my age. I'm 45 and you still doing the shit we was doing when we was 15. Girl, if you don't get out these streets, you always talk about another nigga. How you old now, don't your knees hurt? Sit the fuck down somewhere. And it's like, but in all seriousness, it's a mental conditioning.
No, it is.
It's nothing has changed. They've not left where they were. They have not expanded their life, their mind, their understanding of nothing. And it's I go home to Detroit and, you know, the air is heavy to me. When I get off the plane or whatever I'm riding on, the energy just thick, the air just seemed real heavy. I can feel it, you know. And so Detroit was a really crazy place to be growing up in. I saw a whole lot that I should have, a long time before I should have seen it. I wasn't allowed to be a kid. I lived in the streets, and it's only by the grace of the universe that I'm supposed to be here because of a purpose that I have that I survived. I owe no credit to myself because there's plenty of times I should have been dead and a nigga looked me in the eye like, you little motherfucker, take your ass home, girl. I should shoot you in your face. Go the fuck home. You know what I'm saying? He could have shot me in my face. Could have grabbed me up and hit it. Could have done a lot of things to me. But somehow I made it, you know. And I think a part of that growing up, I'll be honest, helped me be the person I am today. You know, because when you go through the fire, you go through hell and back, you survive shit like that. It's a little different. I'm not saying I work hard so my kids have a better upbringing. My kids could never survive the shit I did. What my kids don't really know is their mama's an OG, right? They don't know that about me. They know that I bake cakes and shit. I play violin. I tuck them in and they go to bed at night. You know what I'm saying? So I work hard to bring my kids out of that situation. But sometimes, not that I want them to go through the stuff that I went through, but I find that I'm a little bit more prepared for life because they not really understanding the shit that life will hit you with. And I've been being hit with shit since I was a little ass kid. And so I understand what life will hit you with. And that shelteredness, I'm glad I can bring them that comfort, but I also start to worry as they get older in life. If life hit them, have I prepared them for all of that? Because I can't be here forever for them. So it's a balance.
I know
It's a balance.
Psychological damage when you worry about them just walking out the door. Are they gonna come back the same way?
And for me, it's good to hear y'all talk about that because I didn't understand that being a son to my mother until I found out later. We had a talk as I grew up and, you know, told her the things that I was going through, and she would literally say, son, I would just pray that y'all made it back home safe. And she's like, I knew you was out there doing, you know, craziness, but your dad wasn't around, and I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to connect with you. I just was hoping that everything works out, nothing bad happens. And yeah, it's that thing that I think moms do think about, and me as being a dad of a daughter, I've had that thought as well, where I want to make sure she's prepared for what life may throw at her, right? Like, we want to give them as much as we can, right? We want to make sure they're financially or comfortable, like you say, but we want to make sure they have that skill set to be able to survive the world if we leave or something happens to us where we're going early. They don't have mom and dad to pick up the phone and make that call. So I definitely want to follow up on the network because that's something that I'm intrigued with. So you was in Detroit and you came to Atlanta. So first, what made you want to come to Atlanta, or did you make a stop before Detroit?
Plenty of stops.
Okay, come on.
So I was in Detroit back and forth. My mother was one that always traveled, right?
Okay.
My mother always lived in other states. She got out of Detroit a long time. I was a baby. She was like, I'm getting the hell out of this ghetto. So whenever I was ready to leave the streets, I could always go where my mother was. But my mother was always in some old whack ass little white people town or some shit like that I did not want to live in, right? But my mom went to a lot of states. I lived in Flagstaff, Arizona. We've been in New Jersey growing up. I lived in Virginia, Portsmouth, and Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay, shout out,
Told you I had my first experience like, yo, it's racist as hell. When I used to play soccer, and it was in Virginia. And they played us because we was a black team. We were supposed to win that championship. They just took it from us. So, but we lived all over the place with my mom back and forth, you know. But then eventually, at some point in my life, when I got married, I lived in Springfield, Massachusetts for probably 12 years. And then I got divorced, and I was like, I gotta go where my family is, and that was in Colorado. My mother has 9 children, and most of my siblings were there with my mother. And so in that divorce, I was like, let me go where I have my support system, because where we were was where his family was from, my ex-husband. I went to Colorado, lived there for a little while, and that's when, you know, a lot of stuff took place and doing my activism work. Even before that, I was in Massachusetts, but that's where I was in Colorado. I told you, they ain't like me out there. I got in trouble, boy. Black Lives Matter, a lot of folks. Because I was the one in the meeting to be like, y'all cool. Who invited this motherfucker? Thought this was a black meeting. Why that white lady here? Oh, you gave them the check. And then they start having secret meetings where they don't invite you because they don't want you to show up.
They don't want you to say that.
Because you're fucking up the money, right? And from Colorado, that's where all of the viral Bill Cosby stuff took place. You remember me in the basement? I was in Colorado then, and then I moved to Atlanta. So I've only been here 4 years. I was in Colorado 2015 till 2020 when I moved here to Georgia.
Now going back a little bit, because I want to address this issue because it pisses me off that people try to weaponize this against you when you have made this no secret. You grew up, your mother's black, and your father's white. And I hate when people try to determine your blackness based off of that. How was it like growing up with your father?
It's funny because let me say just right off the rip, like everybody, it's funny whenever I say something that black people agree with, they be like, yeah, black power. Soon as I say some stuff they don't want to hear, they be like, that's why you white. Okay, make up y'all motherfucking mind. But, and they all say that I hate white people because of my dad. So let me start with that, okay? So, me and my father had a very bad relationship. My father was an alcoholic. The whole time I've known him growing up as a kid, I don't know, there wasn't a time that he wasn't an alcoholic, right? And so he's a functioning alcoholic though, you know, he was the one that if you took his liquor away, he couldn't do his job. You gave him his liquor, he could go to work, he could do everything because he was a workaholic. But because he spent a lot of money on his drugs and his alcohol, we lived a very poor life when I was with my father. Not with my mother. My mother always made sure we were taking care of it. She had to work 2 jobs. She might have got food stamps, but we never knew we was poor. She'd go to the Salvation Army, pick us out our clothes, and we thought we was fly, you know. Grandma helped out a little bit, but my father didn't give a damn, right? So my father, he had money, but he wouldn't spend it on us. And so I remember, you know, a lot of poverty with my father. I remember in Detroit, there was an abandoned house across from my grandmother, and when I say abandoned, like it was still usable, you know, it wasn't tore down, but nobody lived in it. So my father went over there and he slept in that thing for like 3 days to make sure nobody else was squatting in it, okay? Then after that, he was like, this is where we live in, and he done did some ghetto shit, like run an extension cord to the neighbor house so we can have some electricity till stuff get on. Like, so that's why I laugh when people be like, oh, what you know about the hood? You live on a golf course now. I do. And I worked hard to live on that golf course. And I worked hard not only to live on a golf course, but to look out there and see black people on the golf course in my neighborhood. Right. You know what I'm saying? But we had a cooler on the front porch, a red fucking cooler, and we would sit it in the snow. That was our refrigerator. And a nigga stole the milk one day. We had a whole gallon of milk. I was ready for some cornflakes. I mean, it was the government cornflakes. Like I grew up back when they give you that big government block of cheese, and we had to walk miles to go pick up that shit, and it was nasty. I had powdered milk. I'm ready for survival because I done drank powdered milk. The rest of y'all ain't gonna know what to do. No, we have plenty of food you just add water to, right? But we was poor as hell, you know, and it was because my father kind of wanted things to be that way, you know, and I think it was because of his alcohol abuse and things of that nature. I remember being like 6 years old when we moved into this abandoned house. Me and my brother slept in one room, and my father had a girlfriend, my stepmother. She was with him for quite a long time. I have a stepsister, you know, that's with, he had with her. And she used to do my hair, and when she would do my hair, like, we didn't have any hair grease. So, like, back then when we fried chicken, we fried it with lard, you know, the white stuff. And so when it gelled again, and she would use that to grease my scalp. And I'd be in school and people would be like, I smell chicken, and I'd be trying to play it off like, I do too, knowing damn well she done greased my scalp with some chicken grease. I was po living with my daddy, right? So we lived like that. My daddy was what I would call white trash, right? I'm just being honest, okay? Because people tend to think like I can't be honest, like, you know, I'm biased in some way, and they don't take my real story. I ain't got no problem telling you.
Super transparent.
Yeah, he was white trash, and lived in the hood, around a bunch of niggas. Your mama across the street, Polish white trash, and your loudmouth ass sister across the street, racist ass Auntie Susie, white trash, okay? So anyway, you know, growing up with him, you know, we had to fend a lot for ourselves, and, you know, and he was very abusive to me. So this had nothing to do with him being white or being black, but my father was very abusive. So at 6 years old, my father would I would pee in the bed. And when I would wake up and have peed in the bed, I'd be trying to hide my sheets because he would whip me for peeing in the bed. But he wasn't regular with me. He would beat me with like a piece of wood, a paddle. And he would beat me with it. I had big webs on my leg. I'm 6 years old. And then he would say, you gonna stop this fucking peeing in the bed. And then he would send me outside in the yard to pick up all the apples. But it was like 6 apple trees. I would be picking up apples all day. I'm 6 and 7 years old, okay? And then there were times when we lived in other houses, he would make me kneel in the corner all day. And then when it was time to eat dinner, I'd be like, maybe I could get up from here. And he would bring my plate to like the coffee table so I could keep kneeling while I ate. And he would make me eat at the coffee table versus in the kitchen. And then when he would tell me to go to bed, we lived at one house that had stairs. And after kneeling all day, I couldn't even stand up straight to go to the stairs. I would have to crawl up the stairs to go to bed. So this was the relationship with me and my father. He was very abusive to my mother, and she left him, and then he would beat up my stepmom. But, you know, he was abusive to me in that way. And so I would never forget this night. I tell this story all the time if I tell somebody about my father. And I woke up one night in the middle of the night, and I hadn't peed on myself yet, and I was like, I fucking woke up. I'm not finna pee in the bed. And I get up to go to the bathroom, and we're in this abandoned house that he done took over. So we got one room and his bed is in the living room. So I gotta walk past him to go to this bathroom that's in the kitchen. I don't want to get in trouble for being out the bed, so I wake him up, Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. I think he's gonna be proud of me because I'm going to the bathroom for once. So I go to the bathroom and I come back and I'm trying to go to my bed, and he stops me and he says, you be playing around too much. You wasn't in there long enough to be going to the bathroom, so you think it's funny to wake me up and play these games? Stand right there. So now he's making me stand in front of his bed. He falls back asleep. I'm standing there, seemed like 5 hours in the kid's mind. Might have been an hour. Yeah. But now I'm gonna wake him up. But I'm scared to wake him up. But I want to wake him up so I can go back to bed. And so I finally get the courage to wake him up. Dad, can I go to bed? He's like, yeah, go back to bed. So I wake up the next morning, hadn't peed in the bed. Thinking you're gonna be proud of me, my nigga. Yeah. Finally, you're gonna whoop my ass. Maybe you be proud of me. No. He tells me she want to play games at nighttime and waking me up. You gonna work out for you go to bed. So an hour every night before I would go to bed, he would make me do jumping jacks and push-ups and things. So I would be tired, so I wouldn't get out the bed playing games with him. But then he would beat my ass with a piece of wood every fucking morning when I did pee in the bed. So me and my father had this relationship. I hated him. I hated him. And it's not whether he was white or whether he was black. I just fucking hated him because he was a horrible parent, right? And so, you know, I went back and forth with my mom and come back to my father. And I'll be honest, I didn't go home and tell my mom, oh, my dad did these things to me. When you live in a household, that's your normal. So it was just normal for me to get my ass whipped. This is how we live. You're kids, you get adjusted to the conditioning of it. So this is just life. I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know it was wrong. Like, I need to go tell somebody. It was like, oh, I'm with my mama now. I won't get my ass whipped. It's okay. Yeah. You know, so we were with her for a while. I did go back to be with my father when I was like 11 years old. And my brothers came with us for a summer. And they decided they wanted to stay after the summer. And I didn't want to leave my brothers. My mother has 9 kids. They're in groups. And David is my brother that was in prison. That was my brother. Like, we have the same father. When we look in the mirror, I see you when I see me, nigga. When you my brother for real. Like, I love all my other brothers and sisters. We not step, don't get me wrong, but that's my brother.
That was your best friend.
And I didn't want to go back to Colorado and not have my brothers. You know? Every time we played when we was kids, my mom would be like, take your sister with you. And they used to try and run me through the ringer like, you want to hang out with the boys? So we climbing trees. I'm like, okay, we climbing trees. Then mama put some shorts on me. Oh, we riding bikes. Okay. Oh, we playing tackle football. Okay. And my brother would tackle, my other brother that's me, not David. He would tackle the shit out of me, hoping it would make me want to go home. And I just get up and be like, all right, come on. So, you know, I didn't want my brothers to leave me. They was my brothers. Yeah. And so I was like, mama, can I stay too? It changed the trajectory of my life, which might not be bad because it brought me here. Yeah. But going there and becoming a teenager, that was a different type of a thing. He was abusive then still and an alcoholic, and he would beat up my brother and he would beat me up. And my brother Sean was very abusive. To this very day, I hate him. So don't think that all siblings got to get along. I don't know what's happened to him in his life. If he was homeless on the street and was on fire, I wouldn't spit on that nigga to put him out. And he's my brother, but I don't care. Okay? He was very abusive to us as children. He was very mean, and he would beat us up too when my father was not around. And my father would always get on me and my brother and stuff, but he would get on me the most. And he would like hit me and slap me around now because I was older. It wasn't the get a piece of wood, but he would like slap me around like he might have did my mom or something. And you know, you get to hanging in the streets and the streets get to getting to you and you think you're gonna keep slapping me around. Like, I done had a couple fights. I done been around some thugs. I done seen some niggas get shot. You're not gonna keep putting your hands on me like this, okay?
Gun from.
Well, one day, my brother Sean, the mean motherfucker, he's burning things. Burning cologne and bows. He playing games and shit. Just stupid ass teenager. My father smells some shit burning. He come downstairs. I'm asleep. I'm 12 years old. And he says, what you down here burning? And I'm like, nothing. You just woke me up out my sleep. You could clearly see he's just woken me up out my sleep. But of course, I'm his target. He doesn't want to talk shit to my brother, that's Sean, because Sean is 6'4". At 15, 16 years old. My father's a little short Polish man. He's scared of my oldest brother. He's not finna do shit to him, right? So he take it out on me. He won't come at them. So instead of asking Sean, what are you down here doing? He blames it on me. He starts slapping me up, hitting me in my arm, hitting bruises on me and shit. And my brother David, like 2 nights before that, he showed me this gun he had. And he had it in the basement. He showed me where he put it. If it's ever any problem, you know where it's at. Back then when we grew up, don't get me wrong, niggas toted guns on them, but it was more like we went home and got our shit. If we came back and we popped the trunk in the era I grew up, like if a nigga said pop the trunk, you should run.
You already knew what it was.
So we didn't always walk around with guns on us, but we'd go get our gun, right? That's a different story. Don't let me go and come back.
You knew where it was at.
Right. So he always had it in the basement. He didn't like walk around on it in the spot that he had it, and he showed me where it was, and just showing me. He's my best friend, showing me what he had, stuff like that. And so my father's hitting me, and in that moment I was like, I'm about to kill this motherfucker. I'm about to kill him. And I went downstairs looking for the gun, and it was gone. David had took the gun because somebody wanted to buy it, and he was trying to get some money so he could buy me some shoes for school. And my father would buy his shit, so he was gonna sell the gun to get some money to buy me some shoes. And he took the gun and was gonna sell the shit. Had it not been for that, that gun would have been there, and I was going to unload that whole clip in my father, and I was gonna kill him. And I was. And I'm staying here today telling you I was gonna kill him that day. Only thing that saved him is my brother took the gun. But there were times, because he beat us up so much and did the things he did to us, I remember plotting with my brother. Now remember, I'm 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
12 and 13, I'm a baby.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be thinking
I'm a baby.
Yeah, you're at the age where you still...
And I remember he would be like, make my liquor for me or whatever. He wants somebody to make his drink. A pint of Seagram's gin, and we poured it in big ass plastic cups, and big ones. And one of them little bottles of the Everfresh orange juice. And we would mix them shits together and give it to him. And I remember thinking at 12, I'm gonna get some medicine and I'm gonna crush it up in his drink and put it in there, because the gin and orange juice already tastes bitter like this pills, you know. And I'm gonna give it to him with a rag around it, because he's so drunk he ain't gonna realize. So the only person on the cup is his, and he'll drink it and die, and they'll think he killed himself. But this is what me and my brother is plotting, because we hate this nigga.
Wow.
And so eventually I got away from that. My father was just a drunk. I listened to nothing he said. At 14, I met my first drug kingpin, drug dealer son boyfriend. Boy was 16 years old. His dad was in the pen. He was a drug. We dug up $20,000 out of his backyard. And like some movie shit. I'm 14. These are the things I'm experiencing. But my dad couldn't tell me nothing, and I was kind of doing my own thing, and I really didn't listen to him at all. After that, and I became very rebellious. But yeah, I had a difficult relationship with my father. Now, there came a point in time when I'll never forget the Rodney King situation, because people always bring this up, and I like to say this, like, just because a person will have a child, they will marry you, does not mean that they're not racist. Sometimes white people fetishize black people. Mm-hmm. All I ever saw my father with was black women, but he thought we were niggas. And I will never forget the day Rodney King, I was 12 when Rodney King got his ass whooped. So I was 12 years old, and everybody's rioting and they're tearing shit up, and it's on the news, and I come in, and I mean, I'm in the streets, I'm 12, but it's something that has sparked my interest. It's to be some political stuff to be a kid, and I'm like, they beat that man on the thing. And I remember all the times they hit him, like, it hurt my body. Like, damn, are you gonna hit him again? Like, I will never forget that.
It's like you can hear it on the television when they were kicking him.
And my father's watching it, and he's like, this why you niggas don't never have nothing, because you tear your own shit up. That's what's wrong with niggas now. And I looked at him and I said, niggas? I said, so we niggas? We niggas now? And he was like, yeah, and that's all you niggas do. So now I'm a nigga too, daddy. I'm a nigga too. I remember at 12 years old that day thinking at 12, and I don't think a 12-year-old mind should think like this, but I remember saying, white people think they better than everybody. You a fucking white trash ass white boy. You lived in abandoned houses before, nigga. You live on a toe up block. The black man next door po just like you. You ain't no better than the nigga down the street. But yet and still you stand here and you say you niggas like you any better because of the color of your skin when you is a piece of white trash. I remember thinking that at 12. I said, but because he white, he thinks he
just because of the skin color. Right. Just because of the skin color.
Yeah.
That's literally it. That's their only separation from it. In their mind.
Absolutely.
In their mind. Because it's clearly not.
But people don't understand, and that's what I say when people want to say shit to biracials. Like, why don't you ask biracials to tell the truth about situations and how it is in their household? It's different if you got a white mama than if you got a white daddy. It is. Your mother feeds you. She cooks the food. She does your hair. She teaches you the culture. You're gonna be whiter if your mama white. I'm just telling you. You don't think you're gonna act like you white if your mother's white. If your mother's white, right? If your mother black, it's a little different. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you broke that down.
It is different because I met many of biracial people's got white mamas. They different than the ones that got a black mama.
You notice it, you could tell.
Yeah. But I think that's because the mother, again, is the caregiver. They pick out the clothes. They do the kids' hair. They teach you culture with the food that
they're talking to them daily.
If your mother is making green bean casserole because she's white, then that's why your biracial ass don't know how to make baked mac and cheese. Because your mama, what? You do get what I'm saying? I'm not being funny.
No, but you're right, though.
And it goes on a much deeper level than that, you know. If your mother is white, she's not teaching you about what it means to be a black woman or a black man. She can't even relate to that shit. She can't.
She don't.
Right, so it is a difference. And that's only because in society, the women are the nurturers. They raise the kids. That's why I'm saying that. It's not like the black father can't have an exception to that rule and teach their kids. But most of the time, they're out doing shit, being a breadwinner. They're not as involved with the more intimate aspects of helping a child develop who they are. Moms do that much more. Right, so that's why I think that is. But people who think that I hate white people, first of all, I don't like white people. I don't like all people. How about I don't like black people sometimes? But let me be honest. I have a prejudice. And when I meet white people, I think, oh, white lady. Oh, there's a white guy. Okay? And first off, you're just, oh, it's a white person. I don't have any type of feeling towards you. I'm not really trying to be your friend. I don't want to know what you're talking about. Just leave me the fuck alone. But in there, it's not like I don't deal with white people and you can't start speaking to me. And then as an individual, I decide in what box to put you in. But off the rip, no, leave me alone. And that does not come from my father being the asshole that he was. That all comes from all of the experiences I've had with white people in my life. I've had these crackers right nigga get out on my barn back when I was 19 years old. So we're not talking about the 1950s. I had the white police burn my house down because I would not cooperate with the case of a guy that I was dating that did something that I had nothing to do with when I was in college. I have literally had my shit burnt down by white people. Y'all talk about the 50s. I've lived that. I've lived in places where white people have done this shit. They call me niggas just like everybody else does. They don't see me as one of them. They don't honor that in any kind of way. I've had plenty of issues with white people. And so I judge them based on what I've experienced. It has nothing to do with my father. If you ask me what pain and trauma my father left me, was the trauma of searching for relationships that replaced what my father didn't give me. So I started off life looking for niggas who could protect and provide. And with that, I chose some of the wrong people because the bad guy always seemed like the protector and the provider. So it caused trauma and it caused damage in my relationships and the way that I saw men and let men love me and loved on them. But my father's relationship had nothing to do with the way I feel about white people. Only thing it did was make me realize that even white trash people can think they're better than black poor people. That's what he taught me. But
that's why Trump got such
my father didn't make me feel like I feel about, you know, the way white folks are.
Because, I mean, to be honest, just me listening to your conversation, I don't care if your dad was black. I would see you hating him too.
Yeah, I would have felt the same way.
It wouldn't even matter the color.
Yeah, because he didn't do that shit to me because he was white. He did that shit to me because he was abused as a child. He was an alcoholic. He had some issues. My father fell into a hole in life that he couldn't dig himself out of. A lot of us fall in holes. I've fallen in holes. I could have stayed depressed. I could have lived my life away. I just decided to climb out the holes that life make me fall in. My father fell in one and he never could get the fuck out of it. That's what that was, you know. It doesn't matter what color he is. He was an alcoholic. It ruined his life. It did. I just didn't let it ruin mine. That's the only difference. It had nothing to do with white or black.
So
Now, can you share some of the racism that you experienced when you were younger? Because I remember you talking about.
Yeah, so when we talk about that and the racism that I have, like, it had nothing to do with my father. I remember when I lived in Virginia, we lived in Norfolk, Virginia. And I had a teacher. I was in the 2nd grade, and she convinced me to be on a soccer team. So we had a soccer team. It was all black kids at the school, and we was some bad motherfuckers. We was beating everybody, right? We was winning. And then it was time to go and play. You know, we were playing through the tournaments and stuff, and we had to play the other team. It came down to the playoffs. It was us against them. Now the other team that was the number 1 team was like a white team from the suburbs. All white kids. And we went and we played that game, and the refs kept calling fouls that weren't fouls. Like, the adults in the stand, everybody could see it, and it was not something only I could see. It was obvious what they were doing, and everybody was upset, but they kept calling fouls when it wasn't fouls. They weren't giving us our points when they should. They were deliberately cheating because we was whooping them white kids' ass, and they did not want us to win, right? They was. And I remember in the game, it was the top player. It was him facing me, and I was like, oh shit, he coming towards me, and I got to get this ball from him. I'm nervous. I'm like, he the top player, and I got to get this score. And we had his face down, and I got the ball from his little punk ass. I did, and I went over there and I made me a goal, and they tried to call like a foul on the way. I did it and didn't count it. I was so mad I didn't want to play no more. And I remember Miss Duke took me over to the side. She was like, Michelle, I need you. This okay. I understand you right. I don't want you to think that I don't see your feelings. It's not valid. But we got to finish out the game. What we came here to do. Don't let them people get to you. She had to give me a pep talk. And I took my ass back out there. But we lost. They stole the game from us.
That's crazy.
And then they came and handed us 2nd place trophies. And I threw that shit on the ground. I was like, I don't want this. They racist. Because we won. And that was in the 2nd grade. So there goes one white people's story, right? I just didn't understand why they did us like that. I did understand, and my understanding was that because we was black and they wasn't, right? So that was one of my experiences. Again, my mother used to have us live in all kind of places, and so in Trinidad, Colorado, you go look it up. It's not too far from Pueblo, Colorado. It's like 15 minutes from Raton, New Mexico. And I actually went to Trinidad State Junior College when I was 17. I got pregnant with my, son. I went home and let my mom help me. And as we were living in Trinidad, literally, no lie, we were the only black family that lived in Trinidad. It was a town of 10,000 people. That's not nothing. It wasn't considered a city. It's literally a town. You go downtown, and the downtown is like a couple miles, and it has bricks in the street, and it has Trinidad written on every one. Like, the houses were old from like 1906, 18 something.
So that's one of those towns where everybody knows everybody.
Oh yeah, everybody knows everybody. And so my mom decided to live there. Now on the campus, you had black people that played basketball. They was on campus, but as far as living in the town, we lived there. And so in living there, we experienced several things, and one of them was. First of all, one of them was in being on the campus, the police did not like me. I was in school for criminal justice, and they would try and pull me over all the time. I will never forget Officer Marika. I know their names. There's so many of them, and they know who you are. And everybody knows everybody's name. We're in a small town, okay? But they would pull me over all the time, and they would try to mess with me, and I would always hit them with what is your reasonable suspicion or probable cause if you don't have a reason to keep detaining me, because I'm in school. Stop playing with me, Marika. I just got out of procedural criminal justice 102 procedural law. Stop playing with me. Okay? I know my shit. So they didn't like me, and I'm the black girl too. So as I'm in college, I was dating this guy, and apparently they thought he was breaking in people's dorms, stealing stuff, okay? And so they come and try and say something to me, and I'm like, I don't know, this ain't got nothing to do with me, And so they tell me, well, don't you run and tell him what we said to you, because you are being tampering with an investigation. I'm like, whatever. So I leave the police station, go right to his dorm room, like, guess what? So I tell him everything. This is what they got on you, this is what they don't got on you. If you didn't, be quiet, this how you handle it. So I go in there, I tell them all of this, right? They're mad, and they go get a warrant for my house. And I live in housing at the time, okay? And so I have like a little townhouse duplex, and they go get a warrant, and they come and they raid my house while I'm not home. But he don't even live there. Like, this is some unethical shit. You just literally raided my house, and I don't have anything to do with a crime. This boy don't live with me. He live on campus. Go raid his dorm room. But they was just mad because I wasn't cooperating with them. So they fucked up my house. They tore up everything. They threw everything everywhere. I come home, I don't want to clean this up. If you have ever had your house raided it's like a tornado come through your shit. They tore out everything. They broke stuff. They just, I don't want to clean this shit up right now. So I go to my mother's house. I'm at my mom's house for 2 days. I get a call from the police on the second day, and they say, oh, your house is just burnt down last night. And I said, what you mean my house burnt down last night? They say, well, your house burnt down last night, and we believe that it's due to a cigarette being left lit. And I said, you're a lie and a half, because I ain't been in my house in 2 days. I don't smoke cigarettes. It don't take 2 days for something to catch on fire if a cigarette was left there. Nobody smoked cigarettes in my house. And so then he said, well, it was no forced entry, okay? So we can't see that anybody came into the house, so it was something you left at the house. I go home to my house. It is clear somebody has poured accelerant on my couch. My couch is what went up in flames. It is clearly somebody who came in here, and you're right, it wasn't no forced entry, because you motherfuckers had the key, because you just raided my house 2 days ago. And then I called them, and they snicker and they laugh and they say, well, we really can't tell you nothing. We don't know what's going on. You know how you don't know what's going on? We don't know what's going on. Ha ha ha. And he hangs up the phone with me, letting me know, bitch, we burned down your house. White people have nothing to do with my father. I'm living, and this is the day and age we in. This is not the 1950s or 60s, and these motherfuckers just burnt down my house.
While you in college?
Yeah, this was in the 90s.
It's just crazy.
It was probably 97. 97 this happened. 97, 98, they burned down my house. So now I'm living with my mother. A little while later, sometime later, she's still living there. We're in a house there. And the Texas 7 break out of jail, if y'all remember that. And it was 7 people who broke out of the Texas jail. And they were from a prison. And they was on the run, and they was looking for them. Yeah. And they kept saying to watch rural areas. And we was in a rural area, and we're actually not too far. And people were saying they had sightings of them in Pueblo. We like, an hour and a half, from 2 hours from Pueblo. So we like, I hope they ain't coming down here. Yeah. So it's women in the house with children. We already on some standby shit. So we wake up one morning, and it's snowing, and we see footprints, and somebody done wrote, spray painted, nigga get out on our barn. The 90s, y'all. Nigga get out on our barn. Okay?
I keep thinking it's so far.
And I'm like, what? Nigga get out on our barn, and the Texas 7 is loose. So we really vigilant, right? And so, again, this goes back to hoping my children are prepared, because when you don't go through certain things, sometimes you don't know what to do when life hits you. So me and my mother is like, we gotta plan. First of all, we don't feel comfortable going to sleep in this house late at night, because that means somebody's walking around our house. We don't got no alarm system, so we make a nigga rig one. We put this shelf at the back door. We put a bunch of spoons and pots and pans and things that if you open it, it's all gonna fall and make a loud noise. We go outside in the backyard and we flatten all of the footprints so we can see if somebody walking through the yard. My mother normally get up at 5 in the morning. We normally stay up, me and my sister, you know, we young. Yeah. I mean, I'm in my 20 now, but you know, we stay up a little later or whatever. So instead of going to bed at 1, we stay up till 4. My mama gets up earlier. Nobody's ever sleep in this house. Every 20 minutes we do walks around our house. We got our weapons or whatever. And if we see some footprints, we know somebody back there now. We vigilant. One of the nights, my sister come walking home and she up the corner and somebody say, "You fucking nigger," as they're driving down the street as she's trying to come into the house. And so this is what we're experiencing being there in that city once we don't help people or we're not cooperating with the police. They never really liked us anyway, but this is the things that are going down in this community that are happening to us. So I laugh because when a lot of people talk about racism, they're dealing with systematic racism and they tell me, "Oh, you white, let's take it back to that." But I be thinking like, I've experienced racism in a way that your ass probably never had, because you live in the cities, you're not dealing with that kind of a racism, right?
Because out on the outskirts it's different.
Right. Like, I just being in jail, in the county jail, being called a nigga and being walked through the airport and having the sheriffs purposely lose the shackles so the whole time I'm on the plane when they extradited me back to Colorado that I can't use the bathroom or do nothing, and they gladly prance me through the airport and shit so people can look at me like I'm Jeffrey Dahmer. They looking at me like, "What you did?" I told them I killed 12 motherfuckers because you looking at me, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I just owe some damn money, leave me alone. So, you know, just all them little experiences, being called niggas by the people in the jails and just being treated different and just, you know, stuff like that. I mean, there's so many stories I could tell. I will never forget the police kidnapped me when my brother went to prison.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I was 14 years old. By law, when you take a juvenile and you arrest them for something or you have them in your custody, you are supposed to notify their parents. Yeah, when my brother went to prison, remember I told you they murdered him. Well, he went to prison at 16 for robbing gas stations to give my mama the money. He lost his job, but he was just robbing gas stations, pretending he never lost his job and bringing it to her like it was his paycheck. So when they caught my brother robbing gas stations because they didn't really have, I guess, all the evidence they needed on him, they come and get me from a friend's house my mother left me with to be with them and stay with them for a little while. And they leave a note on the table and say her brother's trial is tomorrow and we're taking her to her mom. Well, they take me to jail. They don't tell my mom they have me. They throw me in a cell and they say we're arresting you on a bench warrant. And I said, you can't arrest me on a bench warrant. Now I'm 14, but I know my shit and they want me to shut up. I said, you can't arrest me on a bench warrant. Court is not until tomorrow and you didn't even subpoena me to come to court. And they like, oh, this little motherfucker thinks she's smart.
Shit, yeah.
So they leave and they come back 2 hours later and they serve me a paper and they say, if you don't tell the judge what he wants to hear tomorrow, we're gonna try you with accessory to armed robbery.
At 14.
They kidnapped me and then they tried to coerce me to say some shit against my brother, which ultimately caused my brother to talk to his attorney and take a deal and confess to what he did because he didn't want them to use me and railroad me because I didn't do anything. I wasn't robbing no damn gas stations with him. But they knew the relationship we had. And so ultimately my brother told the truth when he might have been able to get off to save me. So I take it real personal that y'all murdered my brother.
Like you said, they back us against the corner. Back against the wall, and they make us make that decision.
At 14, the police, I hate the police. And it's not because I watch them beat people down on TV every day.
But you got
these niggas kidnapped
past.
me. These niggas burned down my house. Like, I got history with police, and I don't like them for a reason. Everybody misunderstands that. They're like, they always assume my experiences have brought me to the way that I feel. I'm not just watching stuff on TV. I don't just get emotional and get involved in we supposed to be mad because it's George Floyd. Everybody protesting, you go protest. I have real life experiences that have brought me to the conclusions that I'm at. This TV shit, I've lived some of this TV shit. Do a motherfucker know what it's like to have... Everybody that's on the news, I go get their stories for the network, and they're like, oh, the police killed my family member. Like, mine too. Yeah. I know how they feel. This is not I'm emotional because of what I seen on TV.
Yeah, you lived it.
Man.
It's a life experience.
And this is why I reached out to you because Mechee, you give so much back to the community. You do so much. But I feel it's important, and it's overlooked all the time because people like to weaponize certain things against you. This is why I felt it was so important when I reached out to you for this podcast, so people can know Mechee, know Michelle. Mm-hmm. And this, honestly, as I told you, this is the one that I'm most excited about because I want people to get to know Michelle. Yeah,
it's funny. I say that behind the scenes. I tell people that on the phone all the time. I be like, nobody knows Michelle. I don't even think I have people in my life anymore who call me Michelle. Everybody calls me Mechee. And so when they see me, they always think, it's so funny because my brother, the assistant, he does a lot of stuff for me and everything, and the friends he hangs around, all his boys, at first they used to be like, how do you be around her all day? Do she just be yelling and screaming like that? And I'm like, what?
No.
Like, I don't understand why people think that that's like, I'm a mother. I get off of line and I go and I take care of my children. Like, I cook dinner, I bake cakes, I sew like, you'd be surprised because for as rah-rah as I am, like, I'm Mary Poppins like a motherfucker. I bake cookies. That violin that's on the wall on my set, that's my violin. I used to play that shit and told my kids to go to bed at night.
Wow.
My son went to jail and I haven't played it since. So it's on the wall because I don't even use it. But I don't know. I don't think anybody ever sees me as Michelle anymore. That kind of gets on my nerves because I'm surrounded by everybody who's just like Mechee. But underneath Mechee, there's a woman named Michelle that is somebody's mother. That is a woman that is dealing with her own situations and her issues, trying to keep my life together. While also, so many people look to me to be their answer. I take that very serious because I don't ever want to be hypocritical. I don't ever want to. I know people look at me as a leader. I don't come here to say I'm a leader and beat my chest on some Umar Johnson shit, right?
Yeah.
But what I do recognize is that my voice reaches people and it makes a difference in people's lives. So I have to be accountable for what I say and what I do and what I put out there. And I will be honest, I get guilty sometimes and I feel bad when people want an answer and I don't have one. Because sometimes I feel like I'm always supposed to have the answer because they make me feel that way. And it's like, if I don't have an answer for them, I let them down. And I do be wanting to save everybody, but that's the Mechee X. And sometimes the truth is, Michelle, if you really know the life she lives and what I walk through every day, I'm still constantly trying to save myself.
It's a
balance.
It's important
for people to understand that when you log off of your podcast, Miss Me with that bullshit, I love. when you log off, they don't understand what you have to deal with, what you go through, as far as when you sit with yourself. Yeah. And you go to bed at night.
Yep.
So it's important for me to have like that, because you are so many things to so many people. Like your mother, you know, don't want to use the word activist, very much a revolutionary, an artist, violinist, spoken word. I mean, I could go on and on. Comedian.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I'm funny. I myself up.
It's a few times I had to crack them because I like
I'm
humor.
quick with the comeback.
I like raw humor. Yeah. No, she on it. She on
So,
it.
very much your political stance. Please break that down for the people who just want to see it one way.
This morning I went off. I should have made a video about it. It was a Bill Cosby moment. I should have made a video instead of telling the people in my house about it. But politically, let me tell you something, okay? So both sides to me, neither one of them are going to be our savior, right? But at the end of the day, if we're going to have to pick a side, then we need to start picking sides. I don't give a damn if you're a Democrat this term and the next one you become a Republican and you flip back and forth. Just flip-flop, goddammit. They always flipping on us.
I done done it.
But go with where the policies benefit us, right?
What works for you. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't think? I don't think that we understand what systems, how they're set up, how they mess us up. So we don't even know how to see things politically right. And let me explain that in more simpler terms. So like, for example, I saw so many black people yelling and crying, talking about Trump was racist because he was going to build a wall. And that we shouldn't be racist like this and keep these people out because you shouldn't do that to them.
I know where you're going.
But I understand that building that wall and keeping the migrants from coming over here actually makes the unemployment rate for black people go down because they do steal all of your jobs, okay?
We're feeling the effects of it right now.
Oh, but wait, that's where we're getting, yes, absolutely. But this is worse than it's ever been before. And I can't believe there are black people in my comment section crying about how we all need to be united as oppressed people. So let me be clear. As much as people be like, you can't stand white folks and you talk about them. Again, I really don't like human beings, period. I don't even know why I'm in this position, because if I have learned anything, I've learned that people ain't shit. Okay, no matter what race they is. But know that I have enough. I don't like you to spread out to everybody. I am very equal in that when we talk about equality, because fuck some Mexicans too. Them Asians coming over here. And these are my words, not their words, but these are mine.
Brutally opinionated.
And the reason I'm saying that is because I feel that way about everybody. First of all, if you're not my people, I don't care about your plight. But what people keep saying to me is that we're supposed to unite and we're supposed to care about all these people's plights. We don't understand the systems and the things attacking us, so therefore we actually promote the things that bring about our demise. All of these migrants coming into this country now, I don't want to hear another black person open their mouth and talk to me about politics and reparations. They're giving your reparations away right the fuck now in your face.
Yep, they're giving them away.
They're giving all of your reparations away right now. 38% of all homeless people are black.
Talk to them.
Most of them are veterans, and they cannot get housing assistance. They can't go stay in a bougie hotel. Matter of fact, all the shelters are so overrun. All of the food banks have been taken that now our people that are homeless are truly being starved out, because they used to get in the shelter. Now they can't get anywhere, and they can't get none of the assistance. They can't even go and say, well, damn, can I get a plane ticket for free and get a flight to another city then? But they're doing that for the migrants.
They're busting on this shit.
And this the funny thing that I don't understand about black people. You do realize these niggas done come here in the ass of a cow and got shitted out. They go through all kind of crazy shit to get here. But as soon as they get their crib, as soon as they get their job, as soon as they get promised they DACA baby dreamers, they gonna look at you like, you fucking nigga.
Yep.
They think they better than you. They've been watching TV too. They was told when they come over here, your black ass is who they stay away from.
Yep.
You're the dirty people. You're the thugs. You the lazy folks. And trust me, they believe that about you when they see you.
Yep, 'cause they
so
see you.
while you crying for them, they ain't busting a grape for
thinking
you.
about
You
you.
sound like a fool.
And I would never understand why we constantly harp on fights for other races. You know what I'm saying? For other people who we still haven't gotten the shit that we've asked for.
If you fight for
What
these
we
migrants,
deserve.
you're fighting for them to get all the resources they're supposed to be giving to us.
I like what you said, because I've often said the reason we don't unite is because we don't even know what we need.
We don't. We don't.
The majority, I'm not gonna say all of us, because I think some of us do understand what we need.
And somebody
But the
got
majority
mad with
doesn't.
me in your comments. And I didn't think he understood that I've been a moderator of yours since you started your YouTube page. He said he was going to block me. And I was like, do you really think I give a fuck about you blocking me? But I don't think he even saw the comment because he may have blocked me. But I'm like, you can't block me from my page. That's up there to do. But I made the comment that a lot of us, and that's I feel it's true, a lot of us are not prepared for reparations because most of us are not going to put. That was my point.
I think they'll probably give us reparations, and this is just my opinion. And when I say they'll probably give us some, if they do, let me say that.
Yeah.
This is the point I really want to make. If they do give us reparations, they're going to give it to you, I believe, in the New World Order form of things, to where you will be required to get it in like cryptocurrency or the new blockchain, because the dollar is falling.
Yep,
I mean, I know people say that, but pay attention to what's really going on. It doesn't. And so as we get to the blockchain and we get to cryptocurrency, which is a real currency, like there are ATMs, you can pay for stuff online. I teach people how to make money online. That is a payment source. We can attach that to our site and get paid with crypto right now. It's a real currency. And so I think what's going to happen is that when the government give you a wallet, they don't give you the reparations on there, because all they're going to do is just give you some digital currency to say it's amount to something, but they're going to have control of that. The whole point of blockchain is to decentralize where people are not in your pocket and in your wallet, right? And so I think that if they give it to you, they're going to require you to get this chip, that the money going to be on there, or get your own blockchain wallet. They're going to give it to you if they do. Because they may not call it reparations. They're going to call it like a universal income. And they're not going to just give it to you, they're going to give it to everybody. And they're doing that now. Go and study that. There's a lot of cities right now giving away what's called basic and universal income. I told people through COVID, they were testing it during COVID. When they did COVID.
They're doing it in San Francisco, I believe.
Their first test was COVID.
Did
they not send everybody home and give you a check? If I give you a check, will you stay home?
Everybody was so excited for the 1,200.
That's how they knew you would take the universal income, but you're going to need it, because between AI and the migrants, you not going to have no job. You about to lose your job.
And that's what I kept saying. I said, I literally told everybody, I said, think about the pandemic. And imagine if it happened again. Can you survive?
Oh, well, the World Health Organization already told you it's not a matter of if it's when.
It's coming
They
again.
just told you that.
So,
you better listen.
So as we talk about being prepared, we know it's fucking coming. It's just a win. So we need to y'all need to get prepared out there.
I think a lot of people choose to ignore it because they're scared.
No, it goes back to what you said about Christianity. You give us this hope of, well, I'll just pray about it, God's gonna work it out.
Yeah. All the
And
time.
then now when it happens, you are sitting in front of it, still wanting to pray and hope things work out when you could have took some action.
See, and this is why, and go back to the government thing when you say my political stance. So my political stance, I gave you a basic one.
Yeah.
But my ultimate political stance is that the government is the government. And if you want things to change, you should overthrow your government and make them create a new one. And I'm gonna just leave it at that because you understand what the word overthrowing is, right? But we're too weak.
Yep.
And we're too scared to do that. And something that black people might not want to hear is that black people will never get up and cause a revolution against the government and win. It has to be something that pisses off all Americans and we get up together to change the government. And I'm going to tell you, this immigration issue might be it, which makes me sad to see so many black people going against it. You should be pissed and be ready to fight about it. Right. Because I'm telling you, the ultimate thing is just to do away with the government we have so that a new one can be restructured. And that's the ultimate answer. But since you're not going to do that, then just vote on policies and switch sides. Or you can get about it and do some real shit when it comes to it. But I don't know. I've never understood the resistance in that. I understand that war is not created for everybody. But like, if you don't understand, we're already at war. And when you say be prepared, I think that too many people that you say are like comfortable, you're gonna find out real soon because they want you to be comfortable sucking off the titty of the American government because they want you to think you're always gonna have food on the shelves. Then when you hit the switch, your power will always come on, and then when you turn on your water, it'll always be clean. So while we are, I'm not gonna say it's a distraction. The migrant situation is not a distraction. It's a very real one you should pay attention to. But while we're paying attention to that and who's sleeping with who in the tabloids, what you should be paying attention to is that there are tons of articles from last week going all around in all the newspapers. You can Google it, that with everything being system made and AI and all of that, that we are more prone to attacks, and they are worried about cyber attacks to hit the American water system. And if it hits the water system, it may be difficult to get people clean water because the truth is all they do is recycle the shit water in your city and they filter it and you're drinking toilet water. That's the truth. Don't nobody get mad at me. Facts over your feelings. So at the end of the day,
go down to your waste station, I'll tell you.
Right. So what happens when they cyber attack it, you don't have these filter systems in the plant filtering the water. So now the water is contaminated, and without cleaning it, filtering it, getting a life straw, knowing how to clean the water and purify it, you will die from drinking that stuff, and you will be done for. So at the end of the day, we take for granted that you can turn on a tap water, and this government you should not trust at any moment can placate like some shit happen, and you will have no clean water. We take shit like that for granted.
Yeah.
If they turn off the power for 30 days, it will do in most of the city because nobody has extra toilet paper as the pandemic taught us.
We saw that, yeah.
And if you have toilet paper, you have too much toilet paper and you have nothing else these days, right? And so at the end of the day, most people, do you have enough food in your house that for 30 days, if you had no power, so you couldn't charge your cell phone, what would you do without a cell phone? Do you have two-way radio so you can talk to somebody, so you can get in touch with people? If an EMP really hit us, which is a real thing, and your car don't start up, do you have a bike or transportation? Do you have a way to check in on your loved ones? Do you have something to filter and clean water? Do you have a way to take care of yourself? Do you have enough food to eat for 30 days if you can't get to the if you can't get to the grocery store? Because you realize if power or things were to go down, that means your money's no good because you can't go to the bank. But in COVID, didn't they do that? They told you not to use exact change. But why did they tell us to use exact change? Did the change get sick and go away? Like it's all been in circulation. I didn't understand that part.
Because they were planning.
They want you to use plastic. Nobody has cash. They get you ready for the cashless society. So when the power go down, you do know the debit card machine don't work at the ATM. It does not work at your grocery store. So you will not be going to buy food. So if the power goes out right now,
What you gonna do?
it's gone out for 30 days. You're stuck with whatever you have in your home. So how many of you is surviving and how many of you niggas is dying?
We know they all at the fast food spots every day.
That's a real question though. It happens right now. Everything you have in your house is all you gonna get. What is you gonna be able to do with that?
Are you
got 30
the next
days
30 days
for you and your kids? And when people get desperate and they kick in your back door, are you ready to defend that
Because
too?
you the one that got it.
Desperation, like desperate time call for desperate measures. And what I'm telling you is with the migrants, they talking about taking over people's houses. They're desperate too, right? They're making Americans desperate. Americans are losing their home. They're being kicked out. They're losing their jobs. Inflation keep going up. They're creating a whole population of desperation and people who are fighting for basic survival needs. And that's going to cause a problem. And before you worry about an zombie apocalypse, before you worry about a new world order, you better worry about your neighbor because they're going to make room and cause enough chaos for us to do things to each other. So again, I'm glad you got food. If you on here right now and you like, I got food, I got a life straw, I think I can make it for 30 days. Now I want to know when somebody who wasn't prepared sees that you have some power and some light in your house because you got a generator. When they smell you frying chicken, but they ain't got none, when they kick in your back door, are you ready for that? That's all I want to know. Because in Pittsburgh, they already told you the police don't work 24 hours no more. They got 20 police patrolling the city. They got a blue AI computer box that will take your police report and get back to you at 7 in the morning when somebody comes in. Because between 4 and 7, there is nobody to come to you. And they're no longer answering calls of burglary, domestic violence. This is the same thing that happened in COVID, though. It was a test. You don't know how many cities did this in COVID and said we're not responding to certain calls and we're going down on our officers.
Shut things down at this time.
Well, there is no COVID and this is becoming the new norm. So when the police don't show up and people is desperate, I just want to know if you're ready.
I'm just loving it.
I just want to know if you're ready.
I just want to know.
So
don't come to my house because I don't got enough but for me and mine. I'll shoot your ass and have no remorse and I'm being real.
So
I'm not here to be nice. In those times of desperation, being nice will get you killed quicker than any damn thing else. I'm prepared. If you didn't, don't come to my door. Mechee, I was in your comment section. I don't care. Hey, sis. You should have been ready to
You should have started growing something.
before we get into that, because when I told them about the business women that you are and everything that you offer, especially when you having your own network, they was like, she got her own network. Oh, we gotta talk. I'm like, I told y'all. Let's talk about your views on Christianity because we share the exact same.
Okay.
And that Bible is the most dangerous thing known to the black community.
I think so.
I stand on that.
I think it has made us docile, and I think that it makes us pray a little while longer. We're waiting. You have the Hebrew Israelites, right? And all they did was paint the whole Bible black. You know, everything's black, but they want to keep everything is just black. And they will tell you that we are under a curse, which means that we're on punishment because we did something wrong and God saw fit for this to happen, right? And so when God is ready to take off the curse, then God will come back and get vengeance. That's how you know black people ain't finna get up and do shit because the toughest so-called group of people, right? They got the Hebrew Israelites. Y'all be on the corner reading, making white people kiss your boots and shit. But you waiting on Jesus to save you and you're not gonna bust a grape because you telling me that we deserve this punishment because God gave it to us. I mean, isn't that not right? Why would you fight for your freedom if you believed it was a punishment?
Crazy.
If your mother sent you to your room because you did something bad, you in here for a reason. So when your mama say you can get out, you can get out. So we already know the Hebrew Israelites ain't fighting nobody but show enough. push them niggas to the side, right? You can clearly see how their religion has distorted your mind. They're walking around looking like the black cast of 300. They got on cufflinks and shit because they're so delusional. Even if you dress like a Israelite, you do know it's 2024. They probably don't dress in Jesus sandals and skirts and cufflinks like He-Man. Like, can you at least dress to this day? Yeah. They delusional, but Christians are too. When we go across the whole thing of these religions, so when you look at them, they're not going to do nothing, right? Then, of course, you got the Christians. They're not going to do anything in their religion as well either because they've been told to pray a little while longer. The same type of thing is like the Hebrew Israelites. They don't say we're necessarily under a punishment or a curse, but they're going to sit here and they're going to tell you if you wait on the Lord, God's going to come get you. They see shit happen. Beyonce sitting on the white horse. They think, oh, the world's coming to an end. We waiting on the rapture. Keep on waiting. You're going to get raptured up by these bullets and that starvation in this government before Jesus ever raptured you anywhere, trust me when I tell you. So when you look at Christianity, though, it dociles black people. It makes them think that they should forgive their enemy, that they should turn the other cheek again, that they should blame everything on something outside of them. The devil made me do it. And if you have a great feat, then you give credit to God. You don't even be proud in the thing that you have done as a creator and a child of God too. How you know God don't want you to be proud and you hit that home run? That's my little creator right there. That's my little God. I made you, right? You don't think? I don't know. I raise kids. I think that if I instill everything in my kids that they need, and I know when they grow up they are a product of me, I have failed if my child keep calling home for me to fix all their problems. I would think that God has instilled the creator that you are in you, and he wants you to get to know that. And once you have done that, go be the creator you are. Stop calling me for every goddamn thing. But of course, in Christianity, they give it to you on the plantation. Now, if we want to go a little deeper, right? Ifa is religion, right? From Africa, Yoruban way, and it's what we would call spirituality. It is a religion, though. Let's be clear, okay? Ifa is a religion. But in those religions come from that hoodoo and voodoo, which is demonized. Although Santeria comes from that too, but you watch them let the Spanish people, and they don't demonize that or call it demonic. But for black people, they would tell you voodoo and hoodoo is evil. It's not evil. It's an offshoot of Ifa, and voodoo is strictly a way of doing it in New Orleans that came from them. Now, Haitians and New Orleans people will argue about that. Have your fight of who created it. Hoodoo came from the slaves on the plantation, and it has more to do with herbs, and you will find food is used because they had to use what they had when they were here. So that's why you find a lot more food and things used in hoodoo. Put a honey jar, put a nigga in a jar. You using herbs and things. This is why it comes from that. But all of that is an offshoot of Ifa. But they took some of those things, and in the Bible, they watered it down because God is the most powerful thing that anybody can have. This is your creator. These are your morals, your values, and what you base them on. And so if they can get you to believe a certain thing about your God, they can control your whole life. If I can be the voice of God to you, I can make you do whatever I want you to do. And so, again, like I said before, Christianity is the voice of white people being God for black people on the plantation. And this is why they tell you to turn the other cheek and do all of these stupid things. And so I think that the church is weak. I think that our religious people are weak. I watch anything they've done in the community. And again, if I can have my own brutally opinionated, even the Nation of Islam. You niggas is learning taekwondo and you handing out bean pies with suits on. Now, don't get me wrong, I've worked with a lot of these brothers, but you're not gonna do any goddamn thing to anybody. And it makes me upset that you are not willing to get up. But I look at Hebrew Israelites. When you look at Christianity, it's a lot more women, right? Men be like, I ain't going to no goddamn church, y'all crazy, right? But you'll find them in the Hebrew Israelite more, and you find them in the Nation of Islam. But none of them is busting a grape for nobody. They piss me off that you have all of these men at your beck and call, and you won't order them to stand the fuck up, hold their nuts, and do something for their people. You know? And so Christianity has held us all down because you're waiting on something else. You don't realize you are the savior that you're waiting for. Excuse me. Ain't nobody coming to save your ass. And so for me, no. I don't want to play that Christian game no more. I don't forgive you for nothing. I believe in an eye for an eye, right?
But the thing is, that's in there too.
What?
The eye for eye. That's in.
Oh, the KKK gonna come and burn the cross in your frame. Excuse me.
Oh, you good. Take your time. We was doing good. Then he got you talking.
Look, that's why I need this tea.
That's right. Good.
No, but the KKK gonna come and burn the cross in your yard, and then they gonna go to church on Sunday morning. They are a different type of Christian. Praise the Lord, but whoop some ass. Okay, keep your Jesus, but could you just whoop some ass? That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Praise the Bible, pass the ammunition. give you something.
And why do we have to wait till we die to get our riches?
Like I said.
I never
Okay.
understood that.
Well, let me say this, because when we talk about the EFA too, okay, I don't understand, and I feel kind of stupid that I bought that bullshit for so long. Okay, but wait a minute. I know a lot of people got mansions. Have you ever seen a mansion here on earth? So why the fuck am I waiting until I get to heaven to get a mansion? I thought about that. Like, you tell black people to be lowly and poor and meek, and you give them the Bible so that they're okay with being poor. You know how many Christians feel like if I get rich, that's the devil, because money is the root of all evil. So I gotta be poor until I go to heaven to get a mansion. But if people got mansions on earth, wouldn't heaven offer me something I can't get here? And if that's the case, how come all these other folks got mansions and they don't gotta wait to get to heaven? And why would my body even need, my soul need a house? This shit don't even make no sense.
And they not working that hard to get those things.
They not.
We busting our
They want
ass.
you to die. Look at the analogy.
Busting our ass to work to get a little something.
Oh, look at the analogy. You can have it when you die. They want you to survive everyday work. They want you to die to get that mansion.
Oh yeah.
You got to get to heaven and get it. When you're not in the body and don't even need a house.
You gonna get me rich. I'm gonna sit in my house while you working to get yours.
Right.
And then when you die, we gonna talk about he was such a great person and he was such a good individual. Miss me with that. I was just telling you, I want everything meant for me while I'm here.
Absolutely.
You have no you have no use for a mansion in heaven. If you're not in the body, why would your spirit need a house? Like I always ask people, like, do they got heaven carpet? What that shit feel like? Do a nigga make up your bed, or when you get out the bed in the morning, cause do it just make up itself? You just think about it. Well, in a minute, Elon Musk gonna let you do that. You gonna think some shit and it's just gonna happen, and you can move stuff around. You know what I'm saying? You got that Neuralink and people. You ain't just wait a little while longer. You ain't got to go to heaven to get none of this stuff. But
I never understood that. I used to question it when I was little. You know, the old people tell you never question God. And I'm like,
and that's stupid too.
I'm
But that's
scratching my
the
head.
stuff.
Don't that sound like some master shit?
that's
Don't
the
you question
stuff that
master?
they take. And see, for me, it was watching those slave movies. Like, wait a minute.
Who is the only other person we've ever been told not? We've been told not to question. Don't question God and don't question master.
Yeah.
They go hand.
Because I'm sitting there scratching my head like, well,
This don't make no sense. It don't matter. Did what I told you to do. Don't question me,
Yeah,
boy.
don't question me, bro.
right.
Do what
like
I say.
If Mary was a virgin, how did she have Jesus could walk on water. And me, like you said, when I was young enough, I was dumb enough to believe it. And I tried that shit one day and bust my ass.
That's what you get for thinking you step over.
Because it's like,
They gonna tell you it's a metaphor, girl. It don't mean that. They got an excuse for everything.
Yeah, they justify it.
But look,
I'm not
they-
gonna lie, I used to be happy to go to communion Sunday because I know I was gonna get that grape juice. That was the only time that I cared about
You
going.
would-
But
you
none
would
of
get
that
that
made
sip,
sense.
you
Like
would
we're
get that
drinking
shot.
the blood of Jesus and he
Well, let's go to that because they
cannibalistic
they
to me.
demonize our religions that empowered us before we got here. Because again, if you go back to Ifa, Ifa is more about all of the energies in the universe. We don't look to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, which, by the way, that is a gay cross, right? It comes from the Ankh, which represents life. It shows a man, a woman, and child, right? The sides of it are the eggs, the fallopian tubes, the bottom part, the penis. This is the womb. It represents life. When you see the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, that's all men. That's all male energy. Nothing can be birthed of that, and that's why that cross represents death, and it's a man hanging on it. So they took away the cross that represented life and gave you something that represents death, and it's gay as hell. So I don't know why y'all keep acting like y'all don't need to get them gay people to church and the pulpit, like y'all didn't want them in there, because that's what it is. I don't know how 3 male energies are making no kid. I don't understand how I came from your rib when I've only ever seen me birth anybody. It's more likely that God made me first, if we want to believe that story, and I gave birth to you. So none of this makes sense. That's the white man patriarchy. They don't want to devalue the woman. In our religion and where we come from, the power of the woman is not devalued.
No, it's
okay?
not.
Right, and so that's a problem with it as well in Christianity when they play this game to make you think that in the family that there's no power where the woman sits, right? When we talk about rituals, you do know communion is a ritual, right? And it is a cannibalistic ritual. You are pretending to eat body and blood of somebody so that that thing will live in you. And so there are people that do that, and we also acknowledge spirits that are around, but we don't do it through body and blood. So when you see somebody in a spiritual religion or in voodoo or hoodoo, if you see them jumping around in the spirit saying certain things, they will say that's demonic and you're being possessed, right? Well, what the fuck is the Holy Ghost? When you jumping around, fallen out and you are filled with the Holy Ghost. Are you not possessed by a spirit? But it's okay when you do it. But when black folks are doing it, the difference is that when they're doing it in those religions, they're not calling on some kumbaya-ass energy. They're calling on, we get ready to go to war, then we calling on the God and the energies of war.
Yes.
If we need substance, we're calling on the gods and the energies of abundance. And so they want us to be stuck to this one goddamn thing, when the truth is, in the spiritual realm, there are many that we could take advantage and assistance with in the walk that we have, but they want you to not acknowledge that.
No, and it's crazy that you say that, because I took a trip to Senegal, Africa last year. And that's what one of the old guys said. He said, oh yeah, when they introduced Christianity to Africa, it ruined the country. He said because they lost the essence of what they were and what they naturally believed.
Because we were looking at ourselves.
Because we were always looking at self. We always looked at the earth and everything as far as what we needed. We didn't specifically go to any religion.
Right.
It was more spiritual based.
Yep.
And they took that away from us because they saw, because they had to break that out of us when they took us on the boats. It wasn't something that we just voluntarily gave up, but they broke us.
Yeah.
And over the time, like you said, when you birth a new generation, that generation waters it down a little bit more.
Easier and
then it
to break.
keeps, because it's easy to tell the story, because I've broken you. I saw your dad get beat, so now when I talk to my son, I ain't gonna tell my son what, you know what I mean? So it's that fear, and now we perpetuate it. Now we're 400 years later, and we still waiting on this savior to fall out of the sky.
Right, and that is
Fix
very
our problem.
crippling, because you're not waiting on Jesus or anybody, you're waiting on you. If black people as a whole understood that they are the creators and we didn't like the position we were in and we wanted to create a bigger a difference, we would get up and we would do that. People need to understand, even in the Bible, the scriptures in there are completely turned around. Proverbs, power of life and death is in the tongue, and those that love it shall eat the fruits thereof. Yeah, that's a real scripture, but they interpret it wrong to you. They tell you about gossiping and people back. No, it's in Proverbs. Proverbs is actually the book of wisdom, and it's supposed to tell you about a lot of different ways to live your life. Like it talks about the proverb, the virtuous woman, and all these things. What it's really talking to you is about manifesting. The power of life and death is in the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruits thereof. Meaning, I speak over what I need in my life. See, manifesting is all a part of speaking, believing, and being. There's another part to that, right? I gotta go do an expectancy. So, but you also gonna be speaking the right thing over your life and yourself. It's called speaking life into something. But let's be clear: if you understand real spirituality, we ain't gonna play this kumbaya shit, because it works both ways. Because I can speak some death into your life too, and I can. But more importantly, what people always think when we talk about spirituality, right? They want to do this because they want to be able to do stuff to people. You don't understand that spirituality is all about yourself. So the question would be, are you speaking life? Or are you speaking death over yourself? And so the power is in what you say, because like you say, God said, let there be. So what are you saying, let there be, in your life? What are you saying all the time? And so they use those scriptures in a very distorted way so that you don't even see the power that are in it, because the Bible is very much a plagiarized book, meaning they took some of our ways and traditions, and so that you're a little bit familiar with it. Like, that's the best way to tell a lie. Psychologically, you add a little truth.
Take some of the real out of it.
So it feels comfortable to me. I can receive that, and then the rest you can make up, because you've already got me hook, line, and sinker with the bait of some of the truth. So any lie worth telling should have a grain of truth in it.
Yeah, you want to drop a little bit,
And that's
of the
exactly
candy
what they did.
What they say, you want to put the medicine in the candy.
That's exactly what they did.
Because if I'm willing to eat the candy, you're going to eat the medicine just because it's in there, but you like the candy.
Right.
So I'm disguising this, what you really don't want, but you like this. I'm gonna put this in a package, and now you eat it, and so yeah.
But ultimately, if I tell you that something's coming to save you, this is not your fight. It's the Lord's, right? Is that what they tell you? This battle is not yours.
I love it.
Okay, so the fight doesn't belong to you, it belongs to somebody else. Somebody else gonna come and take care of it for you when it's time. We want you to just pray and hold on and be strong and be meek and lowly and be long suffering, because long suffering comes with God. Are these not the things that the Bible says? So take these ass whoopings, take these suffering, and wait a minute, pray for your enemy, for they know not what they do. Oh, these motherfuckers know exactly what they do. You don't know what they do. That's why you praying for them. Right?
Yup.
They took out the scripture that said, breaketh thou with neck if they fucking fucketh with you. They took that one out, okay? And I can't prove it, but I mean, I feel it in my spirit. Trust me,
That's
it was
just
in
the way
there.
it is. That's just the way it is.
But yeah, this is how Christianity has messed us all up. I think that People need to get up, take accountability for their life, and stop with the bullshit. I mean, some of this stuff just sounds so ridiculous. I don't understand how we even buy it, you know?
Yeah.
You're gonna die and get a mansion in heaven.
That's crazy.
But wait a minute, the motherfucker down the street, he got one right now. So is he in there dead?
Right.
I know the motherfucker got seen on, he got a big ass house.
Mansions here everywhere. Why would you even let somebody tell
Put
you
that work in.
your spirit gonna get something that your flesh need right now?
Put that work in. So look, we didn't dive into a lot of your history, your past. I love it, great conversation. But I gotta talk about the network.
The
I gotta touch
entrepreneur
on it.
that you are, because you have your own website. You offer so many classes. I've taken a few of your classes. And like I shared with Pete and Twan, you are the reason I know how to create a website. I've created websites for 6 people.
Okay, that's
I've taken your spirituality classes. I'm going to sign up for your bootcamp class. And I know you have another one coming up in April. Yeah, so I'm going to sign up for that. But to dive into that and having your own network, because that's something that a lot of us as Black people need to work on and aspire to have.
Ownership.
So, yeah, I want you to share that with everybody. The golden question that they can
Well,
dive into.
excuse me, y'all. Let me say this. I think it's more needed now more than ever, because what is happening, and I knew that this would happen a while back. And so what I've done, I've been working on this a while. So for being on YouTube, I've always been censored. Even here, I've said a couple of things, and in the back of my mind when I say it, I'm like, I hope I didn't say something they can't use to put on their podcast. You get what I'm saying? But that's just the standard. You know, but you get what I'm saying? Because that's the standard of how stuff is. And so it's like, I knew a long time ago I couldn't just freely speak on other people's platforms, because it is their platform. And whether we think it's right or not, and they're running the game, it's theirs. And they can tell you what to do.
Exactly, yep.
And so we always talk about Black people and building your own, let's create our own. So that's what I did. But I started many years ago collecting my audience through emails, text lists, things of that nature, because if you shut me down, I want to have a direct connection with my people. And so I try and give that advice to as many people as I can. If you're out there, you're running a podcast, if you have just social media and you have followers and you are doing things, you want to collect your audience, because you can get shut down any day. And then how do you contact your audience? If they take away my YouTube page today, now granted, all them people not finna come back over and follow me, but with the list I got a good start I can make over again and say, this is where you can find me, right? So first we have to do that. And it's not as hard as you think to get your own. So we have what's called an OTT network, because I want to give the real game of it. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. And a lot of people try and hide it. But if people are trying to go get their own network, it's called an OTT network. And it's where it's streaming. There are many of them out there. And I knew that I was going to have to find a way to get my own. And so I went and I found out. I did a lot of research. It took me a whole year to ever get started on my first network, to find out who I can use and how this stuff works. But I went and made my own network. Now, the first one that we was on, because we went to one company, and they were only like $500 a month. So I'm telling you this realistic.
See?
If you out there,
That's what I'm saying.
$500 a month.
It's not impossible. Take control of your destiny.
And they were called TV Startup or Startup TV. Y'all go check them out. I'm gonna give you the rocks, the steps to go right there.
So
I don't be trying to hold all the game.
We're gonna drop all the little links and
Okay.
little
So you can go to,
tags
and then I'll make sure I get you the right one. But it's called TV Startup. Now I ain't got no affiliate with them. I'm just trying to get people the serious game.
Sharing
This one is
information.
like $550 a month. With that service, they are going to give you an app. So you're gonna have an app in the iPhone, the Android store. You're gonna be on Roku. You're gonna be on Fire TV. You're going to be on Apple TV, Android TV. So you're in all of these spaces. And it's like $500 a month. Okay. They'll set up the website for you. Now, my website wasn't as conducive to the way I wanted it. It's like a WordPress they make it. You can change some things. I don't like WordPress, so I really ain't changed much. So it did. My site
I'm not
wasn't
a fan of that either.
No, it's not as easy for the typical person. I'm not technical with the WordPress.
Gotcha.
So I would say to people, stay away from them, let the people know what they're doing. But they did put the page up for me, and it was all right. Don't get me wrong, and it could work. On there, we had live TV. So what we had was like a playlist. It was like more like real TV. So you could put the playlist of the shows, and people could go and watch individual shows, or they could watch live TV, and it would be playing. We put commercials in between it. That were our commercials, of course. We put a playlist. So we had real TV where it's like every 10 o'clock, every Sunday news come on. So if you go there and click live TV, our news is playing, right? So they had a way to do that. The great thing about this network, right, is that when you, and these are the questions you want to ask when you talk to people, is that When you get to 10,000 subscribers, they will actually connect you with the same companies that YouTube and them have. They'll sign contracts with you, and they will put advertisement on there, and you will get paid for the advertisement, right? So you can do it one of two ways. You can charge a subscription,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
right? Or you can make it free. Like for some of these guys that's on Tubi and they're getting all the money, go do your own network with your stuff. Make it free for the moment, so you can get a lot of people in. Get to the 10,000 subscribers, and then you'll get paid thousands and thousands for all of the advertisement, because the commercials are on there. So you can be your own YouTube, and they will connect you at 10,000 subscribers, even if you have a paid subscription, with the companies. And the contracts are with you. It's not with the company. It's directly with your network. And so that was the first one. We moved to where we are now. I'm not gonna lie, I pay a whole lot more. I pay $2,500 a month. Y'all always ask, I'm just gonna be real with you.
Let them know in case they
$2,500 a
wanna
month.
pay.
It's a lot. And you have people that are in between. But the reason we moved to this network is because we were on the other one a year. We have grown over time. Things take time to grow, y'all. But this one is more like a YouTube platform. So when you go to the OTT networks, find what works best for you and your audience. This one is more like YouTube. So we like this one more, but we have more features. So we can offer more than one subscription. So we can do monthly, bi-yearly, or yearly, right? If a person want to pay all year, we couldn't do that on the other network.
Got you.
This one does not have the live playlist feed.
Okay.
But it does have a comment section. You can talk live like you're on YouTube. You can give me a super chat, and money comes. I ain't gotta give YouTube none. So you can leave a donation in the chat.
on now.
You can talk in the chat. I can offer free subscriptions where people could come over and chat and watch lives and have certain access to certain things. And then with the paid subscription, those things they don't have access to. You can do pay-per-view events where you can charge a particular fee. People can come watch something live. You can sell certain things. So let's say like the new series we have coming up pretty soon, Unjust, that we're doing. That our subscribers will be able to watch that are paid, right? But if a person doesn't want to subscribe and you just want to buy the series, we can just say, okay, for $19.99 you can watch the whole season, right? So you can do those different things.
So it's almost like Stars where they sell like the
but with YouTube incorporated, because if I go live, and you can leave comments on the video, so people come, and we have a community section that's like Instagram. So all the people that are subscribers that are paid, they can post in the community section like Instagram.
Yeah.
I can post things, they can post things. It offers me ways to link my YouTube subscribers. So if you go live on YouTube, people can log in with their YouTube account and also log into your network, like how people can log into stuff with their Google. So they're constantly upgrading things. And for what my audience is used to and what I wanted more of a network that was like my YouTube, with the interaction with the community. So this is why I stepped up. But that price and then everything in between down to $500. Again, they're OTT platforms. So I did all that to get people to game, because a lot of people are being taken down. They took down Wesley Muhammad's page the other day on YouTube. And I don't think he be talking like me.
No, and see that's the thing. See, certain of those brothers I do follow, like Wesley, Reza Muhammad, they pull his page down.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about the stuff that they don't want us to know about.
Right, but what I'm saying is that even when I look about Wesley's page, he talk about some of that stuff, but I think that I talk about that stuff too, and I probably say things that they can consider promote violence, bullying, different stuff. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that I've been noticing with the politics going on that they have been taking a lot of people's pages away, whether you seem to be talking crazy or not. So what you're noticing is they're shadow banning a lot of people, even if you're not talking bad. So you're not getting as much money as they're actually, they got you high off the drug of making money on social media, and now they're limiting when you've learned how to live that way.
Yep.
And let's be clear, I teach people how to make money all day online, and I don't make no money off none of my social media platforms. So I don't depend on that, because I know I'm not monetized on YouTube. I talk too crazy. They're going to demonetize me every other day. So Instagram, none of that. I don't make no money on social media per se, but I make a ton of money on the internet. That's a different story, right? But again, I've noticed they've been taking away people's pages. There was a guy named JT Pocket Watch, and he's really great. He's you know who he is. So he only talks about money and finances. They deleted his channel, and he appealed it. They gave it back, but they took his away. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to be talking reckless for somebody to come take your network. I don't care if you are teaching people makeup tutorials. If you got subscribers and you're making money, you better start shifting your people to your own platform, because that's where it's gonna be. Can't nobody censor me. If you don't like what I say on one of my lives, you can send an email and complain, but I'm gonna get that email and I'm gonna laugh about that shit. I'm not finna take my video down. This is my network.
And you won't talk to a corporation. You're actually talking to the
I'm
owner.
probably gonna ignore you and I'm gonna block you. You ain't gotta be on this network. Let me unsubscribe you real quick.
Stop watching. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
But we have moderators and everything. And so MX Network, let me say that. First, I want to give the people the game of how they can go and do it, because we're at a time where if you really value your platform and the people following you and what message or whatever you're doing, shift into your own. They call OTT platforms, you guys. So that's what you want to do. It is very doable, right? And you will be surprised. I'm not gonna lie to them. If you have 100,000 subscribers and you go to your OTT platform, you're probably going to bring 10% of that audience with you. Everybody's not going to come and pay. That's why you offer. I like this one where people can come for free, because then you grab more, right? That will come because it has some free subscriptions to it. But I will tell you, 10% of your audience that is paying for a subscription or giving you donations that you get to keep 100% of is still more money than giving 30% in all these deductions to platforms that can always limit your stuff, demonetize it. This video can't make no money. Even that little percent that come over and you're going to continue to build and grow is going to give you more financially than you made sharing with the other platforms, is what people don't realize, right? So everybody not coming with you will be okay with the people that do and continue to build. But MX Network, that's my baby. And so for me, it's funny because I've shifted, my lanes of activism. I was out there in the street marching, protesting. I ain't never doing that dumb shit no more because it don't amount to nothing, okay? I used to be in the meetings, fighting with all the black people, like, why you taking these white people money? You a sellout. Why you doing this? I ain't arguing with y'all asses no more. I'm done. I was throwing conferences, bringing the solutions to people in cities, and I bring everybody from the black agenda. I'm not telling you I won't never have another one, but y'all wore me out, whooped my ass. I was done. Y'all made me cry like a baby the last one. I'm not doing it no more because I come out of my pocket. I bring all the solutions to the people, and everybody coming there with an ego. I swear to God, I felt like Umar Johnson came to my conference 12 times over because everybody was in there like, and I'm not in the back. I'm not hiding my face like I'm a superstar. I threw this motherfucker, and it's 300 people in the room, and it's 200 people watching. I'm in the audience. I'm holding kids. You want me to go get your plate for you? And I didn't even get to speak, but all of the activists came in there like, we superstars. They didn't mingle with the people. They left. They rode around and went to parties instead of coming back. And I'm not saying these people ain't doing work, but it just made me realize, like, I'm not coming out my pocket no more because I don't put up no fundraisers. I don't be asking. I should. I pay for all this stuff from my businesses and from my pocket, right? So I'm not gonna keep doing that because I know it helped a lot of people, but at the same time, I feel like it was a waste of money trying to bring all of them folks to give these solutions to folks. Some of them were great solutions. All of them people, even the arrogant ones, they're doing the real work. But at the same time, you can't unite with none of them people because if it's not their cause, if it's not their event, they will shit on your shit. And I'm from the hood. I'll punch a nigga in their face if you keep playing with my money like this. So I can't do that lane of activism anymore either because I give too much for y'all to be playing with my money. Nobody gave me this grant like you sellout niggas who be getting grants. Like this came out of my pocket to throw this together, okay?
Yeah, you put the work in.
So at the end of the day, I can't do that no more because I'm not that kind of activist and I'm not a Christian. I'm not going to turn the other cheek and then you're going to see me fighting with black people. I'm just being real with you. So we're not playing that game no more in activism. So we do an MX Network. I like to call myself a media activist now, right? And so what we do is we really would like MX Network to be what BET was supposed to be, you know? It is a lot of me on there, but it's a lot of other stuff too, and over time I make room for other content creators. You gotta be the right content creator. Your stuff has to line up with the message of what we're doing, but I want everything on there to be black, right? So it's not all me. Of course, I have my raw uncut. Everybody might not like me. We got a black a series on there from somebody who wrote a movie. Shout out to a brother named Silk, called Till Death Do You Part. We have a solution section where we interview people that are doing the solutions of the community. We document that. We have a yoga section that is, you know, our health section. We would like to add some workout and a trainer to that, maybe herbalists and talking about things. So we want to add over time, right? We have the independent artist section where we have videos and stuff that's talking about something. Yeah, of course. So we're steady trying to add to it.
Controlling the content.
Absolutely. And so we definitely have 2A Tuesdays, let me not forget that, where we talk about, you know, guns and survival and things like that. Yeah, and matter of fact, me and Dr. Thrasher was up the other day till 6 in the morning. Wait till y'all see these bloopers we're gonna put up there. I was so delirious, but we recorded 2 episodes. So this Tuesday, there gonna be some episodes. I don't know when this coming out, but he's going through his bug out bags, his bug-in bags. He's telling you what to have to prepare from the smallest. We about to go to the store and show you if you got $200, where do we start, right? So we taking people down to the how you, I got all this emergency supply food at home. We gonna bust it up, put some water on it. I'm gonna show you what it look like. We gonna try something, all right? So we're gonna in real time show people how to get that done, you know? So there's a lot that I try and offer there as one person. I hope for it to be more later, but we're working on a series now called Unjust. And we've been doing a lot of traveling and we expect for this series to continue to keep going. But you're never gonna find a shortage of stories. And we go around on Unjust and we're telling the stories of families who, of course, some of them are big stories that have been in the news, but nobody ever follows it through. Do you really know how this affected the family? Even though the police officers went to jail, Michael and Eddie Parker, they were sexually assaulted, raped, they were tortured in their house for hours, they were waterboarded with milk and oil. These officers just got charged the other day. The federal government gave them 20, 27 years, 40 years. Well, if you ask Michael, and we did, it's not justice. It's never going to change the trauma that it caused this man in his life. Even if they give him money, it's not justice, right? And so we tell these stories for those who don't get the notoriety that they should be getting, with call to actions in them and allowing them to tell what has happened to them. We uncover in Mississippi, and that's just in this first season, a whole lot of corruptness in the police department and everything else. And so this series is about telling the stories of Black people and the unjust things that have happened to them. And that just means all the way around. We do have a sister of a story this first season. Naomi's sister Yo-Yo, she was found hanging in Orlando, Florida not too long ago, if you guys remember that story. Well, the police didn't hang her sister, but the police damn sure didn't investigate. They found her hanging in the back of the house. In the house was a man and her girlfriend. They had been fighting all night. Her girlfriend bust her car windows out. There's a recording on her phone. I have this woman's phone. Her sister said, please tell the real story. And there's messages that night of her girlfriend saying, bitch, I want you dead. I'm going to kill you. The police wrapped it up, no tape and everything, in an hour. Came, took the body away and was gone, and called it a suicide when it looks like there was an altercation on the roof. They never documented any of the evidence. So when we say unjust, police didn't do this, but they also didn't give a damn about that woman because she was Black, right? And so she's still trying to get somebody to open the case. We have video of her recording the sergeant telling her that they know they fucked up and they're sorry. So we have all of this evidence, and since they act like it don't exist, we gonna make sure we shine a light on it, right? And so these families trust us with stuff that the regular news don't care to tell.
Nope.
Even if you offer them the evidence, or even when they told it, you didn't get to see it. Michael and Eddie Parker, we're gonna show you the crime scene. There's still blood stains on the floor, you know? So even though their place is what you call closed, we need you to understand. And I think the most defining thing in any of these conversations is the last two questions I ask every family, and they've always been the same. And I ask them, what would you say to Black people who say that they feel like this could never happen to them? It couldn't be them. And they all say, I would tell them that used to be me. I never thought something like this would happen to me. And then the next thing I ask them is if they've gotten justice and they've got a check, or a check is coming, or, you know, they love to give Black folks settlements. And if the officers have been charged, right, or even if they haven't, we all ask them, even if they go to jail for the rest of their life, even, you know, if they give you this check, is that really justice for you? Do you feel that you have justice? And all of them said no. And in one way or another, they all said that justice would be an eye for an eye. I guess they don't read the Bible much. I like these people. They're telling you the real raw truth. And they would tell you eye for an eye would be the real justice. And they all say that in their own way or other. And I got that same answer from every last family. And so we have 6-7 stories this season, and we're going to continue going. But that's our newest venture on MX Network. It is a network that we hope can be about the people. And in that, as I have always said, it's never about me. I know MX stands for Mechee X, but I really would like to see the network not be so much of me and be, because I'm only one facet. I want to bring content that represents our people as a whole and that everybody can receive. Some people can't receive me, but it's okay. I want them to be able to come on MX Network and say, I can't watch that crazy lady that be cussing all the time.
But I can watch other ones.
I can watch the Surviving Show. But we work on some kid cartoons and stuff
there we
too.
Go.
So my kids can watch the cartoons, or, you know, I can watch this series. That I do like. We do have news. News is free, so anybody can go check out mxnetworktv.com. You can go to the browse section. You can get a free subscription, and there's plenty that's free. But every week we have news that matters to us. So we go get the news stories, and we tell them from all across the country. And we even have an international correspondent, so we keeping up what's going on in Africa while everybody just crying about Palestine. Exactly. We bring all the stories, yes. And so we have been keeping up with all of that. And so that is free. You can go there and hit the browse button and check out all the free stuff. There's something free in every section. We got narrated scary stories. You know, we're trying to expand. And so that's what we hope to see. I say this as somebody who has been an entrepreneur all my life. You know, when I look at MX Network, it makes me excited because if somebody come and look at it now, I don't see Amex Network where it is now. I see my baby in 10 years. So understand that when you have a business venture, you're not supposed to think about where you're going to be next week or next month. You got to have a vision, because I don't plan for it to fail. They can't see in this right here. There is a young man sitting behind that camera, my 15-year-old. He is my youngest, and he goes with us. He holds that camera, and there comes a time I see MX Network being something to leave my children that's going to continue to run this thing, and it be something that we're not never giving to a Jew. We're not never selling to nobody else. We're not giving it away to nobody else. So I have to prepare my children and the people around me to be able to carry this thing on, so we make sure it always stays in the right hands of the right people, right? So I see the vision 10 years from now. I don't see next week, because if you ask me right now, it's a whole lot I can still do on that network, and I'm working on it. But check me out in 2 years, check me out in 4 years, check me out in 10 years, because I'm gonna still be here.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's it. To be continued. Did you have anything to say? Yeah, I got one more and I'm done. Yeah, just
Tell the people some of the classes that you offer, and of course where they can find you.
Yes. Okay, so you can find me everywhere. Mechee X, I'm Mechee X everywhere. MECHEEX. Don't go to Facebook because they shadow ban me there. I don't even post nothing on there. But I am on YouTube, of course. I take down my videos all the time because people come back later and they try and penalize me for them. So I take them down often because I have a place to put them. And then you can find me on Instagram. But if you really would like to find me, come find me on MX Network, because that's where I'm uncensored. If you like my content, I have. And people told me it was stupid, but whatever, your mama. Because I'm gonna do what I think is best for me. But I've scrubbed basically myself from the internet. If people have used my videos and articles and they're like, where are all the hundreds of videos you've made over the years? They're gone, but they're not gone. They're on MX Network in a vault, and you can go and watch them all with a subscription, and you can binge watch Mechee for probably the next 3 months and have enough videos for that. So that's where all of my videos are. That's where eventually, if you ever go to YouTube and videos are gone, they're there, and that's where you can find them on my network. So that's where you can find me the most. As far as like my courses, you can go to therealmecheex.com, and that is another site that I have where I teach people how to make money online. We're doing a boot camp actually right now. I have another one coming up at the end of April. It's 6 weeks. A lot of people teach classes online, so I do want to stress, the difference in that. I teach the things that I have experience with. So if I tell you you can put up a network, I'm going to show you my network.
I love that.
If I tell you how to drop ship, I'm about to show you where I drop ship. If I tell you how to build a website, I'm about to build it right in front of you and teach you. So I speak through the experience of almost 10 years of selling things online. Before it was hot to sell things online, I've been living that way, selling things online. I teach people over 13 ways to make money. Some of them, it don't cost you nothing to get started. It all costs you some work though. Don't think you're going to get rich overnight, and just because it costs you nothing to get started, you got to put some time into it, right? All the way up to if you want to create your own product and find a manufacturer, I can help you do that too. I also have a website called mxsurvival.com that has survival supplies, and we also have, and it just being transparent, our survival supplies is drop shipping and white labeling, all right? If you don't know what that is, you should take the boot camp. But I just want to show you what I teach is free, right? I do it myself. And we also have a product on it that we created with a manufacturing company. So we've done that as well. We have a bulletproof insert that goes in a book bag, and it acts as a bulletproof vest. And in these days and age, you might want to have one if you carry a backpack with you.
I want to get my daughter one.
They come in all different colors. We got colors, we got flavors. We know how we like to be fly. But you put it in basically, and it works. And we're working on one for automatic rifles, right? This is for handguns and stuff. It's all about the weight, so we're working on that with our manufacturer now. But these ones we have don't weigh anything, and it gives you the same protection that a police officer would have. So you put it in the book bag. If you need to turn around on your front, you can use it as a vest. And a lot of people will also say to me, like, stupid people, they'd be like, what about the rest of your body? It works the same way as an officer's protection. All your vital organs are here, so even if you do get shot, you want to live. So it's a thing that allows you to live longer and have a better chance of surviving, right? If you get shot
and
somewhere.
the goal is, like you said,
you want to protect. Yeah, so it's the same thing with the officers. Why do they just walk around with a bullet? They don't walk around with legs. They're covering their, so that's the concept of it. Right, and you can't walk around with a bulletproof vest on every day, but if you are in New York and you catch the train, that place is crazy. Then somebody just get shot. See, if you had that on your back, you could have turned around, got in the corner, and did like this. You wasn't gonna get shot in your head, you covered, right?
Exactly.
You might got shot in your ankle, but I'm just saying.
You to live.
You to live, yes. So again, we've created that product, and that's at mxsurvival.com. We have that, but we also have the emergency food and generators and things you might need. So, I have these several businesses, and so I teach people how to make this money. And I've been told that my classes are information overload. Because I just go straight to what you do. I show you the stuff, and I just be honest with you. Like, that's what you paid for. That's what you fucking paid for.
I don't want you to talk to me for 10 minutes. Show me step by. I did this. I clicked this. I clicked.
Oh no, I don't need you to give me no $1,000. I tell somebody right now, look, you better not get nobody no $1,000. I'm gonna show you how to make your own damn website. Don't you get nobody $50. We got to go to Canva, and I'm gonna show you how to make your own logo. So that's what we just did this last week. But I also am showing people now. One thing I've incorporated in the boot camp is that we have extra classes, and so in the boot camp, I will be also teaching people AI. AI, there's so much you can use in your business, and people don't know how. Like, I can show you how to clone your own voice, so you can just type stuff and now they make videos with your voice on it and you never have to speak again. ChatGPT will show you how to write books. You want to write a book? They'll write a book for you. Let me show you how to do that, right? You never have to come up with your own emails again, not even your social media posts ever again. And so I teach people how to do that, and I've incorporated probably since you took other classes because that's new. And I do it because I use it. I'm not teaching anything that I have not done myself or assisted somebody in doing. Like, for example, I do have a student that started an online liquor store. That is not something that I do myself because I can't do everything, but I helped her over the 6 months we worked together to go through the process of that to get it done. Absolutely. Online liquor store, and it's a place that actually delivers it for you.
But it's crazy if you can think it and create it. It's a big...
Well, online has made that possible for people to do. So I want our folks to understand that and get into it a little bit more, because at the end of the day, this is the answer. You're not gonna be able to go to your 9 to 5. AI is taking over. So either learn the skills to get employed online, because now online is the new business. So either learn how to be employed and be a social media manager, all these different things you can do, or either learn how to make money online
Create
yourself.
Your own revenue.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the lane we're going in. Business is all online. Nothing is brick and mortar anymore, and we're just getting further away from that. So I just think it's a skill that everybody needs to have, and you will be surprised all the ways you can make money online. But you can't. And then people always say, this stuff is free online. Yeah, but if you don't know what it's called, you don't know what you're looking for. If I didn't tell you there was a process called white labeling, where other people have products, they throw your logo on it and it's done, you would not know what it's called. So how you gonna look for some shit you don't know?
Exactly, you're right. And this is why we want to create this platform to share information.
Yeah.
That's what this is really, really for. So my final question is, how important is legacy to you?
Well, very. It's very important to me. I have 5 children. I have 2 grandbabies.
All right, now, grandmama.
I am. And let me just throw out there as a side note, I am not a grandma. I am not too young to be a grandma.
Embrace it.
I have 2 grandbabies. They are very beautiful, and I'm somebody's grandma, and I am okay with that. And I'm gonna spoil them just like grandma do, and then I'm gonna send them home and let they bother their parents and drive them crazy, because I only have a 15-year-old left in my house. So I'm not that kid stage, but I'm a grandma, and I'm proud of the grandmas. I love when my grandkids call me, when their mama won't do something for me, they daddy, grandma. Will you?
I know they call it grandma. Yeah.
I'm gonna get them back for when they was bad when they were my kids. Oh, your daddy want you to have no candy, huh? Here go 2 bags.
That's what I said.
Eat it all before he get here. No.
When I had grandbabies to get on my son's nerves.
But legacy is important. What I would say is that I think it's a sad thing to come live life, and especially if you leave your mark on life. Like, at the end of the day, I say this in the most humble way. I love me. My greatest superpower is that nobody else can ever be me. But I have left a mark, and I'm going to leave much more if life let me live just 5 years longer. The mark that I've left now is nothing like the mark that I would have left in 5 years. And I didn't do all this energy, and I didn't do all of this stuff, and I have children for them not to be able to carry on some legacy of something that I have built. I've worked too hard for me to just die and then it all go away. I'm just a hashtag, I'm just a memory. No, I want people, the things that I have built, to continue to stand. And so it's important that I instill in my children not only the importance of grasping everything I'm offering them and what I'm leaving them behind, but that they understand how important it is to instill it into your children and the next generation. I need my picture on the wall in the big ass mansion, the generations down, and the painting that say, that is Grandma Mechee.
You set us up.
And Grandma Mechee is why we live this way, y'all. This is why we have MX Network. Yes, that's what I need. That's what I need.
That nice car you driving, Grandma helped get us there.
I need to be in the backyard on the land of the compound so that we can write it off on the land trust. And see, understand that if you bury somebody on your land, people was laughing at Trump, but he's right. If you bury a loved one on your land, it's considered cemetery land. You don't have to pay no taxes on it. So I would just like them to have me on the land and have a little cemetery for our family. Come honor me, have a picture on the wall, and know that I built this. That's I don't want a Gucci bag. I don't want a Fendi belt. I got on some clogs and a t-shirt and you know some pants I probably got from goddamn Blue Jack come from Walmart.
Black
At the
on
end of the
clothing
day,
brands. Yeah.
I need land. I need a compound. I need a place for my children to be safe. I need my children to know when they go out in the world, there's always a house that you could come to on this land. Is your address. You live here. There's food in the backyard growing in this garden. This land is self-sustainable. You don't need the world, and when society get crazy, you can come here, and there's always a place that we call home. And if anybody come driving up that driveway that ain't supposed to be here, you gonna hear them before they get here, and you better go get them things and let the dogs loose before they even get down here. That's what I'm trying to build for my family. I don't give a damn about all of that other stuff, right? So that's where I want to spend my money. I need some land where people gonna leave me alone, because I know what's coming, and we just gonna be right here on the land. Y'all go on and tear up the world and act crazy out there, right? Y'all go on and watch the migrants snatch everything from y'all. Y'all go on out there and watch the government people, and y'all fight over who you vote for. Because right here in this space, don't nobody run none of this. Not now, politician or nobody else.
It's the land of Mechee.
Yeah, we're gonna put a sign at the front door. It makes land.
That's right. That's right. That's
Well,
right.
I just want to ask, because my last question to you, because you do it throughout your podcast and you've done it.
Niggas fake, it's hard to tell a snake. One more flip